Okay, let's go hit live. We're live. Yay!
Hello.
Today, we have an outstanding guest for you. You are in for a special treat. Our friend Pam Gomez has lost over 160 pounds while taking Mounjaro, and she just recently, I can't even say it. Can you pronounce the name of that surgery where they remove skin on your tummy?
Panniculectomy.
Panniculectomy
At least that's
done.
how the internet says it's pronounced. So I
Okay, well,
think,
we'll let Pam let
yeah.
us know for sure. But she just recently had that skin removal surgery. And so she is willing to spill the beans. And is it really worth it? And how much pain do you have to go through in the beginning? And she's going to remember because she just went back to work on Thursday. So she has only been back to work for less than a week. So everything is fresh. She is so friendly, so kind. She's a school teacher. She doesn't mind educating people. And she also is a YouTuber and has her own YouTube channel, Mounjaro Journey with Pam. So everybody, let's give a hand to Pam. Pam Gomez. Yay.
Oops, hold on. I'll get out of the way.
Okay, yeah, I think it's going to be the two of us girls now, but Jeff will be helping me as tech support. This is a live, so you can ask questions. And first, we're going to let Pam share some of her Mounjaro journey and, losing this 160 pounds, as well as what it was like to have that special skin removing, because you get a lot of excess skin if you lose 160 pounds, and have that excess skin taken away. Is it worth it? What did she wish she knew before she had the surgery to prepare her for it? All the things. So if you have any questions, please put them in the comments and we'll be sharing your questions shortly. But first, we're going to hear more from Pam. Yay!
Yay! Hello, everybody. Well, yes, boy, you're really good at the intro and remembering everything. That's amazing. Um, I'll just do a quick overview of where I've been. 25 years ago, I had gastric bypass, and it was the open RNY divided gastric bypass. And just like our fellow friend, because it seems like we all kind of follow each other on here, Barb, we actually had surgery. Two hospitals that were really close to each other in San Diego. She was at Alvarado and I was at Scripps Mercy. And on August 16th, 2000, I had my open Roux-en-Y divided gastric bypass. Well, because it was open, that's whenever they cut you. So I had an 8-inch vertical incision in my right here in my stomach from the breastbone down to my belly button. And
Wow,
yeah,
that's a big,
it
big
was a
open.
big one. Oh, goodness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I would say I was good for like 10 years. And then what happened was I ended up getting a hernia at that time. So in 2010, I had hernia surgery and, or some, I forget some of my years, I get them kind of mixed up, but I think it was like 10-ish years. And so I had hernia surgery, and on that hernia surgery, he did a laparoscopic incision, 4 incisions, and put about, I think it was like a 4x6 mesh inside my abdomen.
Okay.
And so that worked for maybe 5 or 6 years. Is that 10? Something like that. And yeah, it lasted for a good amount of years. It was probably close to 10 years. And I should say the reason why I got the open divided gastric bypass is in 2000, 25 years ago, they were my doctor, it was Pacific Bariatric, and they had a group of like 4 or 5 doctors, and they were just starting to do the laparoscopic gastric bypass back then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and so back then it was like very scary to get it done, and everybody talked about, are you gonna die? Like, are you gonna make it? And so I felt like it was safer for me to go ahead and go with the golden rule, like whatever they were
Traditional
the traditional, like whatever they were more comfortable
surgery.
with. I
Yeah.
wasn't willing to risk doing something new. Just like
Mhm.
eye surgery. I don't have to wear glasses anymore. And I waited until they were really good at it before I had the LASIK eye surgery.
Mhm.
So I had a hernia, had it repaired, and I was pretty good. But I don't like to wait for people to do things for me. So I picked up 50-pound dogs, I picked up grandkids, I pick up those heavy water bottles from Costco. And
Oh,
yeah, those things are heavier than you think.
yeah.
Um, Eventually started noticing, even though, oh, and I had gained weight back, so I had to regain after gastric bypass, like so many years after. At least I was good for like good 5 years, and then I started to slowly gain the weight back. And I would say for a good 18 years I was back up to 300. And sometimes I would go down, I would go on a diet and I would lose 25 pounds, and then I would get back up and I'd go like to like 290 or 300. And and then for a good couple years I was like over 300. And one summer I looked back and I was even 322, and that was like my highest. So at gastric bypass surgery, pre-surgery, I was 310. And this time, whenever I started my Mounjaro journey, I was 313. And
Okay.
yeah, so aside from the hernia surgery, and that will kind of lead me up to my surgery now.
Mhm. Yeah.
So I went in and I noticed that I was getting a lump again, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I told the doctor, I said, I feel like I could feel things over time, like, ooh, something's pulling. And is that the anchors? And um I sure enough, I my hernia came back. It came through.
Oh,
Yeah. And so I went down to my physician down in in Los Angeles. It was actually by Cedar Sinai in that area. And they said, well, yeah, yes, you have the hernia again, but there's no point in operating on you until you lose the weight. Like you,
Mhm.
because the pressure on your stomach is going to push against that. Because
mesh.
they did a mesh, yeah. And oh, and I forgot to mention, I even had an emergency surgery because the intestine got stuck at first, and I was vomiting for a whole entire day. And I got the intestine got strangulated. And then 2 months later, then we did the mesh. I forgot all about that part.
Oh, yeah.
Um, yeah, so that was scary. My husband was away at work, and my daughter raced me down to Los Angeles, and we had surgery at 2 in the morning at Cedar
Wow.
Sinai. Yeah, for that emergency surgery. Um, and then he wanted to wait until all the antibiotics were cleaning out, like to make sure there's no infection.
Yeah, you
And
don't
then
want to have
my
sepsis from it either and get a
Right,
pool
yeah.
where that stuff is leaking out because that can kill you.
Right, exactly. And he didn't, no doctor wants to take any extra risks. Like they wanted you to be at optimum, optimal chances of survival, and they don't want their numbers to go down either, right? So,
Right.
and they care about you.
Sorry to
Um,
interrupt, but
yeah.
in case Gina did not already make the announcement, we are not doctors.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Uh, we're not doctors. Pam's not a doctor. We're your sisters from another mister who are sharing our journey with you. And this is going to give you a lot of information. So when you go and talk to your doctor, you're going to have some information of what it's like for other people who are patients who take Manjaro or who've had a gastric bypass and need hernia repairs and all of that. We're here sharing our journeys to help you on your journey. And you can ask us questions and we can give you our best answers that you can talk to your doctor about. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. And another side effect of having gastric bypass is that you can be anemic. And so I
Okay.
was anemic and I had to do iron infusions for a little bit. So they wanted my um, hemoglobin to be at a certain number before surgery. So I had to work on that too. So, but anyway, so I
Wow.
had
So
the,
really, I'm going to pause for just
yeah,
a
go ahead.
second. Pause. Wow. That you are not the first friend of mine who had the gastric bypass surgery and lost a lot of weight and then later gained their weight back. That is just so
Hmm.
disheartening because it's such an expensive surgery and you had to go through all the pain of having that surgery done. And it worked for about 5 years, and then the weight came back.
Well, and the reason why the weight came back, so bad habits, and I think I heard your one of your last YouTubes, and I don't know if it was during the book club, but it didn't get rid of the food noise.
No.
And yeah, so the
Yeah.
food noise was there. You can eat around your surgery. And that's the bad part is a lot of us who have surgery, we learn how to graze. And I think Barb's even said this too. We learn how to graze, we work around, we do that. But I was also finishing up my master's degree. And whenever you sit and for me, whenever I sit and read a lot, I snack. And so I would snack because I was studying and reading. And then I was at work and I'd come home and I'd be really tired. And instead of walking during the day or after work, I would sit down, watch my soap operas that I was so looking forward to. And then I would get dinner and then I'd hurry up and sit down. And so the old lifestyle and lack of movement really caught up to me. Yeah. So
And
I
you still
think
have the food noise. You still have the
I still had the
cravings.
food noise.
You still have
Hmm.
the cravings. You're still, it doesn't take care of any of that.
Right.
Whereas
And I
Mounjaro really does.
well, and of
It
one of the
helps a lot of
friends I
us.
had, right, and one of my friends said, "Until you fix this, nothing's gonna work." And I was like, I was upset when she told me that, but she was an older lady, and I thought,
Mhm.
oh. And but she's right because um that, and she may not have been talking about food noise. She was probably talking about the mental health that we need to also work on, the mindset, and
Mhm.
what's causing this. But and you can stay motivated for a while, and then after a while, you kind of give up. So, like, I would lose 25
Mhm.
pounds, and then I would gain it back, and I lose 25 pounds. Whatever it was that motivated me for the moment, I could never get that more than 25 pounds off.
Yes,
Um,
that was
yeah.
me. Yes,
Yes.
absolutely.
And we've been through, and a lifetime, I would say, I was thinking about this. From the age of 12, I started learning how to count calories. And I was in seventh grade wanting to try out for the
Mhm.
cheerleaders. I wasn't always in the band, but my mom said, okay, well, and I wasn't like chunky. Like I just had like the tummy, like the lower tummy. And when we went to Miller's Outpost was the big thing back then. When we went to the mall, I
Mhm.
think I was like a lot of times I was just one size bigger than those regular stores. Or it would be a little bit too snug in the
Yeah.
waist area. Yeah. And sometimes I
Mhm.
did. Like I remember one time buying a size 7 jeans. So um it was just kind of weird. And I remember when my husband met me, I was a size 10 in my shorts, but I was like drinking 7 Up for lunch and I didn't really eat. I was like really in a calorie deficit, like probably 1,000 calories a day or something. Um, so yeah, so anyway, I've always struggled with my weight. My mom, was pretty thin until her adult years, and a couple years like when we were young, I remember she ballooned. She was only 5'1", and any extra weight, like when she was 220, she looked higher than 250 because she carried her weight in her stomach.
And
Um,
she was short.
and she was short, yeah.
Mhm.
And my weight is more distributed amongst my body, and I was more bottom heavy, and so people would see the top part and not know that I weighed so much. Even now, like people think, Pam, what are you doing? You look like you weigh 110 or 120, and I'm like, I don't post pictures of my whole body, and you don't see all of the bottom half, So that I had to explain and say. I'm 150 pounds, or I'm a little bit more than that right now after surgery. Not talking
Well,
about that. It happens. You swell and
it
stuff
happens.
too. And I usually now I'm kind of like balancing around 153. That's my average in maintenance. 9 months in maintenance now. Actually 10.
Yay!
Yay, yeah,
That's fantastic.
right. Actually, probably 10 months, but I've been on 5 milligrams for 9 months. Yeah. And I went
Of
down. I went,
Mounjaro, five
yeah,
milligrams of Mounjaro.
because and you guys saw me. We had our interview, and I was still losing 10 pounds a month on
Yeah,
the 10 milligrams.
This is
Yeah.
my second interview with Pam. We interviewed Pam back in January of 2025, and I was so excited. She popped on my channel a little bit, and I've been watching videos on her channel, and I was so inspired by her that she had lost this 160 pounds, and just it really was coming off and came off for you pretty fast, didn't it?
Yeah.
You really
I
are
would
one of my
have
super responder
I'm
friends.
a super responder, and I really feel like it has the reason is because I've had gastric bypass. I feel like that has a big play into it because my stomach is smaller, and with Monjaro on top of having a smaller pouch, I couldn't eat a lot. Even though I know a lot of people can't eat a lot at once with this with the any GLP-1, but I just feel like that kind of probably gave me a little advantage, maybe.
Yeah.
I lost weight fast after gastric bypass too, so I don't know. Definitely was a super responder, um, and it was in the beginning, it was a little bit slow, and that was as I was climbing up. Like the doctor took me slow at 2.5 milligrams, and then 5 milligrams,
Mhm.
and at 7.5, I think we waited a little bit more than 2 months, and then went to 10, and that's whenever I had learned from other people, stay if it's working, stay there as
Yeah.
long as you can.
Yeah,
And
if
for
it's working,
me,
no reason to go up.
yeah, and for me, 10 milligrams was my sweet spot. And I know it's not everybody's sweet spot, but for me, it did.
Mhm.
I have a sister who she's either on 12.5 or 15, and she stalled for a long time. And she tweaked a little bit of her stuff, like more movement, because she would say, "Well, Pam, you're working on it a lot more than I am." And so she's like, I think I'm gonna work out now. So, but yeah, I was losing 10 pounds a month whenever I wasn't really trying to. And I thought, oh, I bet you it's just gonna stop whenever my body's ready to stop. So I had gotten down to I'm 5'4",
Okay.
and 143 just didn't look good on me. Like, and because I melt from the top down, and that's the way it's always
Yeah.
happened my whole entire life,
Mhm.
I didn't look good, and people were making too many negative comments, but even my family was like, "Are you okay?" Um, and so I felt like, you know what? I might have, this is at the weight that I was in high school whenever I felt good. And I'm okay at this. If I can
Yeah.
just stay in in this size, I'll be fine. And so we talked about increasing calories. And then I talked to my doctor, and we went from 10 to 7.5, and did that for 2 months, or 1 or 2 months. And then I was still losing 10 pounds. So then I went down to 5. And when I went down to 5, that was a big one. You have to watch me because I feel like I have adult ADD, but I realized that the Manjaro was helping my inflammation, and my that's whenever I realized I really do have. I went to the doctor because my legs were swelling up again, and so through a bunch of different appointments, I found out I definitely have lymphedema, but I
Mhm.
also have lipedema.
Me too. I have
And
lymphedema.
yeah,
I don't think I have the lymphedema one though because my feet don't swell, but I
okay,
get the cuff. I get the cuff
yes,
at the bottom. So my feet aren't swollen,
yeah,
but my calves and my knees and my legs, the lumpy, bumpy fat and swelling there, and my hands don't. I mean, if I
right,
have too much salt, my hands
yeah.
will get puffy, but generally not. But I have the lumpy fat nodules in my arms that hurt. If you
Yes.
can't you
If
have to
you
be very
rub
gentle
against it.
touching my arms. Yeah, because just a little bit of pressure on my arms hurts and bruises easily.
Yes, bruising easily. And I never knew before if that was just my anemia or not. But once I went into menopause, guess what? The anemia was better.
Oh, good. Yeah, not bleeding all the time. That's a good thing.
Right. So, but the doctors kept telling me you have more lipedema than you have lymphedema because you have the cuff and your feet don't swell. But I have
Hmm.
varicose veins, and I have had a vein ablation in my left leg already. No, my right leg. And then they sent me to nuclear studies at Cedar-Sinai, and they did this long full day study where I had to go in twice for they would shoot the veins with what's the nuclear medicine, like whenever you go get a CT scan, that the dye. They
Okay.
called it nuclear. I think it's just that dye that you get when you have an MRI, but the fluorescent, so they can
Mhm.
see in a study. And it was to study how fast or slow, or what was the speed that my veins drained. And that's where the venous insufficiency comes in.
I have
So
that
they,
too in my legs.
yeah, yeah. So that's actually the venous insufficiency, I think, is tied in with lymphedema, even though we don't have a lot. We have not as bad, because we don't have those big bulges on the legs. So people who have a bigger, there's like different stages of lymphedema, or
Mhm.
even
Yeah,
lymphedema
and
too, I
even
guess.
lymphedema, sometimes one leg
Yeah,
will be bigger, but the other leg won't, or one
right.
leg will be really, really
Like a
bloated with
bit,
stuff, but
yes.
the other ankle won't. And mine matches. I mean, I have,
Me too. Yeah, mine were too. And I have
Iodine.
kinkles.
iodine,
Yeah.
what they had you take.
Oh, thank
Jeff
you.
looked it up.
Okay. Okay. And so because my feet didn't swell, they were like, well, you don't really have lymphedema. But then when they saw the study of how slow my veins were draining, they said, okay, well, you do have both, but you have more lymphedema.
Mhm.
But guess what? A couple weeks ago, it was probably 2 weeks after surgery, my feet look like potatoes.
Oh, no.
And so I
Oh,
was messing.
you
Oh,
you lost your sound for just a second. You're back now.
oh,
So
okay.
tell me, start with, a couple weeks ago, your feet looked like potatoes after having your hip
Yes,
removal surgery.
after having surgery, they swelled up, and I said, "That's weird," because this whole entire time they did not swell, and so that was one of the reasons why they said I didn't have lymphedema. And I had a vein ablation in July. So the other leg they took out, they don't take out the veins anymore. They take radio frequency, and
Okay.
they inject into your, they put a needle or something. I had a couple of holes in my leg, and they take radio frequency and they kill the vein. And then the blood gets diverted into healthier veins. But apparently, I have
Okay.
two bad veins in each leg. So I don't know how often I'm going to get this done. I don't,
And you
my
did
doctor's
have
being
I'm
conservative.
curious about that too, and I'm sure there's
Yeah,
others, on the live that may have chronic venous insufficiency on top of all the things that we've got, because
right.
that happens sometimes with obesity as well. Um, so
Yeah.
your chronic venous insufficiency, you did have some veins stripped on one leg, but not the other. Was it
So,
worth it?
um,
What
I
difference
don't
did you see
know.
having it done? Do
I,
you what
so
difference have you
far,
found?
I honestly, I do not see a difference yet, because it even swelled a couple weeks ago. And at first I thought, well, is this because of the surgery? So apparently, even with all this, and I think because I still have bad veins in each one, because they
Mhm.
had two, and I'm still down to two in the right leg that are bad, and one now in the left leg that is bad. Um, and the right side looks worse because it has those bumpy varicose veins from
Mhm.
the blood fighting against each other, or going towards like a head-on crash.
Yeah.
So I can tell now. It's like almost like every other week my legs swell. And so here's what I have to do now. I have to wear those compression socks, but I don't like wearing them, so I don't wear them all the time. And they
Mhm.
hurt because we have lipedema, which
Right.
really hurts. Oh man. And I know you've given me some tips on how to put them on. But when you're
Yeah.
rolling them up and they're tight, they just don't feel good. And I
And I
couldn't do
don't wear them
my,
in the summer.
yeah,
It's so hot here. It's over
yeah,
100
me
degrees
too.
every single day in the
Yeah,
summer. There's no way I'm putting those on. So I haven't worn
exactly.
mine in months, but I still have them, and I'll put them on in the winter. Do you have the weird tingles in your legs? Where sometimes
Yeah.
you get like some weird, like almost like a weird kind of crawling feeling or something, but there's nothing on you?
When
Kind of
they're
a
on or off? When they're
When
on?
they're off, just in general. Every now and again, do you get
You
that
know, I
sensation? Because I
haven't
did. That's
noticed.
what brought me to the doctor
Oh.
was this. I was afraid it was diabetic neuropathy, possibly
Oh,
because it was
I
this weird feeling like my veins were moving weird. That there
Oh,
was this weird tingle, burning sensation in my legs, but
hmm.
it wasn't neuropathy. It was chronic venous insufficiency. That my valves aren't they don't open and
So
close correctly in
mine
my legs.
feel like my legs feel heavy, and especially around the inner knee, because of being, 300 pounds for so many years. um, I have like these big hangy bulges on both sides where
Mhm.
if let's say if they sucked out all the fat, there would be like hanging skin there. Um, and so whenever I feel like I can't bend my knee all the way, that's when I know that I'm coming into swelling.
Mhm.
And I'll just go down it now, and I feel the inner knee, and if it feels thick and hard, I'm like, oh great, I'm swollen. And so whenever I do feel that, I for sure put on the compression socks. I have a wedge pillow now, and I've been using it a lot after surgery,
Mhm.
because I do have to sleep on my back still, and so I elevate my legs, and that's the wedge pillow is helping a lot,
Well, that's good to know.
definitely.
So if anyone's thinking about getting the skin removal of your on your stomach area with can you pronounce it correctly for us? The
Oh, you guys said it right. So it was a fleur de lis with panniculectomy. Panniculectomy, I think that's how you say it. I'm like, even I get messed up.
panniculectomy.
Panniculectomy.
That's
But if
what I
you
found.
said it
So,
right, yeah, Jeff said it right. Panniculectomy, and which in the notes they'll just put FDL with panny, which FDL is vertical and a horizontal. And they did a monsplasty, so they lifted up the upper triangle part of your pubic area. And because when you're overweight too, that part bulges out too. Like I had a roll, and I kept saying, I was more concerned about getting that taken off. I was like, I'm tired of this roll, seeing this roll here. Um, and honestly, I didn't even care about the lower stomach because after losing so much weight, it actually shrunk up pretty good. I mean,
Oh, good.
it shrunk up pretty good, but I would still get occasional rashes. So and I had to do, if it's because me and you both live in hot climates, like I'm in
Mhm.
Central California, and and as long as I'm at home and not at my daughter's house at the beach, it's hot here. It's 110 is the highest typically.
Mhm.
And this summer was actually not, we didn't have a lot of 110s this summer. It was more like 105 was our higher temperatures, but we're always in the 90s all summer long. And it's
Mhm.
actually 90 degrees today too. Um, but yeah, Fleur de Lis with or your panniculectomy. And the reason why it's called a panniculectomy is the insurance will pay for it if it's a panniculectomy. And I can't wait to
Oh,
tell you
okay.
about that part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And um, okay. So let's see. But anyway, lastly about the lymphedema and stuff, we started talking about doing a vibration plate because when you shake your legs, that feels itchy and tingly, especially when you first start doing it. And but that means it's working, and your legs get kind of itchy and red, and you end up the fluid starts to leave you. Like you'll start going to the bathroom a lot after doing the shake plate or vibration plate. But I can't use the vibration plate right now because it shakes your inner
Oh, yeah, you got to
my
be careful
stomach
with all those stitches.
stitches it, yeah. And right now, even though my outer skin is healed, the inside is still healing.
Just like when you
Yeah.
have a robotic hysterectomy, those itty bitty little incisions, well, those heal up pretty darn fast. But you got big incisions inside you that you've got to be so careful.
Yeah. But yeah, compression hoses, vibration is usually a good one, and elevation. So the wedge pillow is really good. And another health teacher that I work with, this is where things are a blessing. And she happened to buy a bunch of wedge pillows at Costco because she found them on sale for I think $30.
Mhm.
And we were talking about it, and she told me to come out to the car with her, and she had an extra one, and she said, "You know what? God told me I should just buy an extra one because somebody out there is going to need it." And because I was going to go down there and buy one, and I'm just so thankful that she gave it to me. And because you know how we don't always buy things for ourselves when we need it, and that'll
Mhm.
be like,
And
um,
Costco doesn't sell the same thing for 12 months out of the year. So if you find something at
yes.
Costco and you like it, you better get it now because it might not be there tomorrow.
Exactly, exactly. So, and I don't always like to have it because the other funny thing is, and even when I wear compression socks, I will sometimes, a lot of times, get muscle cramps. Muscle
Mm,
cramps have always been a problem with me. So, the only way I've been able to not have muscle cramps is making sure I have hydration, and
okay.
magnesium has helped me a lot too. Yeah. So when we travel, I try to put the compression socks on. I've been noticing that the flare-ups I hate to say brand names, but there's an electrolyte that I swore by because I never had any problems with it during my major weight loss. Um, and now I've had to stop taking it because I noticed that I was starting to flare up more whenever I took it. And it was always
There's
like,
a lot of
oh,
salt in there. Yeah.
yeah, yes, I have to watch the salt because of the swelling. Um, and I happen to have a chili cheese Frito boat, not a Frito boat, but I had some Fritos, and I was like,
Mhm.
well, I'm gonna have some Fritos. And you know what? The next day I was swollen, so I'm like, oh, I can't have those anymore either.
Yeah,
Not that I should,
all the
but
salt. There's a lot of salt in those, even though they're tasty.
yeah, yeah. So, but anyway, so that's yeah. So it's going to be an ongoing journey. The lymphedema, the vascular doctor that did the vein ablation this time,
Mhm,
she's referred me to go, and I have to go down south again because Bakersfield doesn't, or our town doesn't have it.
mhm.
For the lipedema, the treatment is mostly liposuction.
Yeah.
Liposuction, yeah, and whether or not everybody keeps telling me that it's not covered by insurance, but I'm going to try mine because mine has been pretty forgiving, and
Okay.
the teacher insurance has been really good. And I have the PPO version. I don't know if I pay a little
Mhm.
bit more because of that. And I don't typically have to get pre-authorizations, but I always like to because I want to make sure it's,
Yeah,
nice and
I
done.
do
Yeah.
too.
So I hate to have my husband have to drive me down there. So I am going to look around to see if maybe if I go north instead of down south, if there's anybody else. Because it's easier traffic wise if I go like to in our town, it's like Fresno is 2 hours away, north, and Los Angeles is 2 hours south. And so I'll just kind of look around. And then sometimes they say even go out to the desert, like Palm Springs or, in that area. So we'll see. Um, but that is going to be one of those other adventures that I need to take care of. Kind of, it's not an emergency, but I'll be looking into the lipedema portion
Okay.
too.
So
Yeah.
you're thinking about possibly doing the lipedema surgery to get the
I'm cute.
lipedema removed.
In the legs, yeah. I don't think I have it left in the arms like I thought I used to seem like I had it because I remember us when I was fuller, I felt around and I could feel like those nodules.
Mhm.
And now it's just skin. But because of all the swelling, I'm kind of I want to see what the options are. And do I need to get the liposuction? But I've been seeing some great videos and pictures of people, their before and afters, and it's incredible. So I'm willing to kind of think about going down that road. We'll see. If it,
Okay.
I don't know, unless I have to pay, and then it's just,
And it's
you know how that.
really expensive if you do. And the lipedema can grow back.
Oh,
So
that's
you're removing
right.
it, but it can still grow.
Oh, I forgot about that part.
I
Yeah.
followed a lot of that too because of having the lipedema in my legs. And
Mm,
right now I'm okay. As long as you don't push on them, I'm okay.
yeah.
But some people,
Yeah.
it just hurts them all the time. If I get like that, then I want them out. I want those nodules out,
Well,
and I pay to
and
get
the
them out.
vet,
But right now,
yeah.
I can put up with it. I can still do stuff,
Mm,
but like if I get a massage, I always
mm.
tell the massage therapist, just do, and that's before I knew I even had lipedema. Uh, but I would never let him
Oh,
do my arm. I would never let. I always have a female massage therapist, but I would never let her do my arms or legs because I say it would just you would just hurt me without even trying. So just don't.
right.
But but do my back. My back's fine. If you could do my
Well,
back
and
and my neck.
I don't know if it's just my current vascular doctor, but she seems to be very conservative. And I feel like I'm getting the pressure from her that she doesn't want to do a lot until I go get the lipedema taken care of. Like she doesn't want to
Wow,
take out more veins or kill more veins because she says that my swelling is caused more from lipedema.
it may be.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, yeah. So yeah, so that'd be a little venture that we go on at some point. Um, and then okay, so we were talking about so I had surgery, I had hernia surgery, um, and then it came back, and so the doctor said we're not going to operate on you until you lose weight. And so I had tried to lose weight on my own, and I lost like 25 pounds, and it came back, and so that was frustrating. And I remember like my adult daughter even saying, "Mom, you're supposed to be trying to lose weight now." But it wasn't until my second grandson was diagnosed with leukemia, and I was spending Christmas vacation with him. He was diagnosed at the end of October,
Okay.
in 2022. And at that point, my legs would hurt so bad whenever we went. We're Disneyland junkies, and we always had annual passes. But a couple years after COVID, they stopped the tram service, and you had to walk into Disneyland. And on the way in, I'd have to stop every like 10 or 15 minutes, catch my breath, sit down, take a break. Sometimes I would rent the scooters, and sometimes I was like, let me just try to do it. And I was always sore and swollen afterwards. And I didn't realize that a lot of that too was lymphedema, but at 300 pounds, that's a big
Yeah.
reason too. Um, and so so I didn't go to Disney World with them that September of 2022, right before we didn't even know he had leukemia. And so he was diagnosed at the end of October. And in December, I spent my vacations from being a teacher. I had that extra time
Mhm.
with him, and we were trying to get him to walk down the halls, and his doctor who actually he was a three-time cancer survivor. He said, "Well, you should be going for a walk too." And I was like, "I'm so offended."
Yeah.
And I said, "Zayden, do you know what your doctor told me?" And he's like, "Well, Grandma." He's like, "Well, I am worried because you didn't go with this. You couldn't go with us to Disney World. You have a hard time keeping up with this. And even getting up off of the pull-out bed that they give for the adults in the room." He's like, "I would kind of get upset all throughout the night whenever I had to like get up, and it was like really hard." He's like, "Poppy can get up easier. Grandpa can get up easier." And
Mhm.
I was like, "Wow, okay." And I don't know, just this fire lit up inside me at that point. And he said, "Grandma, I need you to be here to get me through this. I need your help. I don't want, like I don't want you to die young." Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was what it took. And so I got up, I walked, and as far as I could walk, whether that was 10 or 15 minutes at the very, very beginning, around the hospital, then outside the hospital. And whenever there was an incline, I had to stop and take my breath. And then at nighttime, I did another round. And it just started becoming more and more routine. And I started feeling better. And I would reward myself. And they had a Starbucks inside there. So I'd go to get my coffee, and I would cut down on the carbs, and I would have more protein. And I did so well that, I mean, it took me 7 months, but I lost 45 pounds. And 45 pounds after only losing 25 pounds for all these times, I was like,
That was
wow, I
big.
could. Yeah, that was big. I couldn't believe I did it. And so then that took us from December to July. And at July, that was time for my blood work. And I had an amazing PA. I always saw the PAs. I see them more than the doctors, but she was amazing. And she had worked for an obesity doctor. And she said, "Your A1C is 6.0, and she made it sound like I was diabetic, even though we know that
That's
it's
still but
pre-diabetic
that's
still.
pre-diabetic though.
And
That's
so
that's the
the
yellow
high
light.
side. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
that's the yellow light. 6.5 and above, that's red light. You are 100% diabetic. And 5.8 to 6.4, that's the yellow light, where it's like
Oh,
warning, warning,
okay.
warning. You're getting pretty close to being diabetic. Warning, warning. And then 5.7 and below, that's healthy.
Oh, well, and I was
That's your green
5.8
light.
for years. Okay, I was 5.8 for years, and then I was 5.9 the year before that. And just like you were mentioning, it's funny, I was listening to your a replay this morning, and we avoid going to the doctor because we know that we've gained weight until it's something that
Mhm.
really pushes us to go. And so I had missed one of my earlier blood works during that time. So who knows if I was above 6.0? I could have been because I
You could have
I
been
was
before you
feeling
lost
it.
that 45 pounds walking. I
Yes,
bet
I
you
probably
probably hit
was.
it. You probably
Because
hit it
I know
really
that there
good
was
spot.
time when, yeah, and I could tell that my urine sometimes smelled sweet, and I knew that those were warning signs. I would get super tired after eating. My vision was kind of getting messed up. So, and
Also,
it's
diabetes, type
yes.
2 diabetes symptoms. Yep.
Right. And I said we have a family history. My dad for type 2, my older
And
brother
that's
and my
the
older
missing piece.
sister.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because there are a lot of people that can be 400 pounds and never get type 2 diabetes, but it's not in their
Yeah.
heredity. It's not,
Right.
they're missing that heredity piece.
Right. And my grandpa, my mom's dad, even though my mom never got diabetes, but although, she was never more than 220-ish, but her dad had diabetes and he wasn't even overweight, but he had the
Yeah, thin
diabetes.
people can get diabetes too. Heredity.
Yes,
Heredity.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it runs in our family. And but my PA, she took it so serious. She's like, I really think we need to consider medicine. Do you want to do that? And I was like, oh, and then I finally went, okay. And so she started me on metformin. And it wasn't even a week before my daughter said, Mom, my coworkers are going to these Synergy health clinics and they're paying like $400 for something that it's either Monjaro or something like that. And I said, okay. So I called the office the next day and I said, hey, what about this Monjaro? And she said, you want to take it? And I said, sure. And within 2 days, it was at Costco, ready for me to pick up.
Yay!
And I looked out that because she has been writing from day one the prescription as diabetes
Diabetes.
management. Yeah. And so I was able to get it approved by the insurance.
Because
One
seriously,
time,
I'm sure you had it. If you hadn't
yeah.
gone to the doctor when you were 45 pounds heavier, and then you were doing all that walking and you
Yeah.
lost
How
45 pounds and you were still
still
6.0,
at 6? Yeah.
chances are you were definitely over 6.5
Yes.
before you lost the weight and started exercising. The smell of your pee and
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm. The
the vision
vision,
and
the fatigue after eating, like those are
fatigue.
all the
Mhm.
signs. Yeah, I had all the signs.
Yeah.
And I could feel it. Like if I ate something too sweet, and this is where it's kind of confusing because I still have dumping syndrome from gastric bypass. So I never knew if my crash was like my blood sugars, and oh, this is how a lot of my weight regained after gastric bypass. My blood sugar, my eating the wrong foods that oh, if it doesn't make me sick, I'm going to eat it. And then I would have it's like a kid, you have blood sugar high and a blood sugar low, and when your blood sugar doesn't stay regulated you gain weight. And
Yeah.
I know that that's what how one of the big reasons, besides lack of movement and my bad habits. Yeah. um yeah, so I'm pretty sure I could tell you, like, I feel like 90% sure that I was already diabetic. And if I knew all the symptoms were there, and so I felt pretty good. And the Manjaro, I start off and she said, I'm gonna give you the medicine for nausea with oh my God, what are the yellow pill? It's like oh my gosh, I can't think of it right now. My grandson took it this whole entire cancer journey. but they gave me that medication. It's probably somebody's probably screaming at us in the comments, like, I know which one that is.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not.
Supplements.
Oh my gosh, I don't know why all of a sudden just oh shoot, I can't think of it.
Yep.
But anyway,
Grant knows it. This because I was thinking it starts with a Z. It starts with a Z. It's
yeah, I thought so
Zofran.
too. Zofran,
Zofran.
yeah,
Thank you,
yeah.
Grant. Grant
Thank you,
knows.
Grant.
I got this
Yes.
one too.
I know. I'm surprised if menopause, brain fart.
Yes.
So
And I want to thank
she
Grant too for giving us a
thank
super chat.
oh that's
Yay! Thank you so
thank you,
much, Grant.
Grant. So she prescribed that and she said, we're going to see how your body adjusts. And I did good. I didn't get nauseous or anything. And so then the next month she moved me to, she did that regular step like they recommended the doctors to do back then. After you're acclimated at 2.5 to go up to 5. I wasn't really doing like I wasn't really losing a lot at 5 at that time either. And I was just like, like I lost a couple pounds. And she's like, okay, well, um, I think we gave it 2 months and then we went up to 7.5 and it was kind of hit or miss. And it wasn't until we got to the 10 that so I started Monjaro at the beginning of August, so 2 years ago in August of 2023. And then by January, I was at 10 milligrams. And I did 10 milligrams all the way until from January 2020. What was that? 24? January 2024 until I think it was October, I was on 10 milligrams. It was my sweet spot. It worked. And then at October, I was hitting my maintenance mode. And so then I went down to 7.5. And by January, then I went down to 5. I kind of wish, I really would like to talk to the doctor. I'm like, I wish I would have stayed at least at 7.5 because the
Oh,
inflammation
they
came
can move you
back.
back. They
I
can move
know. I
you
need to talk
back if you
because
talk to them. Mhm.
sometimes some doctors are a little bit leery about doing it. And I was trying so hard at staying at 5, but then we learn more about the disease of obesity,
Mhm.
and I think some people still around us don't understand it because they all think that I should be off of it by now. And I'm like, you guys don't know. Like, I mean, I've lost 100 pounds 3 different times. I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
If I have to take it for the rest of my life, I'm already going to be 56. Who cares? Like,
Right.
and my daughter goes, Mom, are you addicted to it? And I go, who cares? I'm 50,
Who
I'm going to be
cares?
56. If I'm
Yeah.
addicted to it, who cares? It's not hurting anybody.
No.
Oh, so okay, so going up into this surgery, I know everybody's like probably waiting for this part,
Yeah, they're
but
like, tell us about the skin
Photo.
removal surgery. No, she's going to tell us about the skin removal surgery here real quick. Okay.
so I lost the weight and I had, so 160 has been my biggest number. And I started seeing doctors and it took a few months. I started vetting doctors from February of this year. And so it's taken a long time for this whole process. Um, and so my hernia, or actually it was January, I saw a plastic surgeon who then sent me to go do the MRI or the CT scan. Which one was it? CT scan, I guess. And they saw how big the hernia really was. And so he said, go back to your hernia specialist. Well, my hernia specialist was on medical leave, so I've started looking for new hernia specialists. And so that's even kind of hard too. And I wanted somebody who understood the gastric bypass anatomy. Well, I really lucked out and I found the surgeon that I went with also in his office, they do weight loss, they do bariatric surgeries too.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, in Marina Del Rey is where his office is, Southern California. And so he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm familiar. I do." I said, "How many complex hernias do you do? Have you had reoccurring hernias?" He's like, "I do them all the time. That's what I do." And I was like, "Okay," because the doctor I wanted to go see was older, but he was like, he's the one who is published and is well known down south for hernia specialists. But what I found out is now we have the new generation of specialists who've been performing surgeries for 10 years now or 9 or 10 years, and the other ones are probably like they're teaching this new generation. And so I felt pretty good, and I said, well, do you need to open me up like to get to that other mesh? And could we do some kind of like tightening of the skin? And he said his eyes lit up and said, it would be so much easier if I could cut you open and see everything. And we work with a plastic reconstructive surgeon at the same time. Well, he's like, but I don't want to step on anybody's toes because you already went to the plastic surgeon. I said, I want to stay in network because if I go to the plastic surgeon, I'm going to have to pay out of pocket, even for the hernia repair that's already covered by
Oh,
my
wow.
insurance. Yeah.
That'd
And
be
get
really
refunded.
expensive.
Yeah, you're right. A lot. Um, and so I said, okay, well, so I had scheduled my appointment. It took 3 months to see that specialist. Then I went to the other hospital in LA, it's Cedar-Sinai and UCLA. So I went to UCLA, went to their doctors, and then I felt more comfortable with the first ones and scheduled it with them. And it was May that I finally got to see the doctor, the other plastic reconstructive surgeon. So that's how long it took me to get through all this whole process
That's
of like
wow. So
seeing
it
the
was in
surgeons.
February. You're like, okay, I have this hernia. It's a big deal. It's bugging me. And they couldn't do surgery until I lost weight. Okay, I lost the 160 pounds. I want to get this hernia surgery done. And in February, you started looking for a good hernia surgeon. And that's when they started playing around with the idea that, hey, you could also get the stomach skin removal done at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it was Valentine's Day that I saw the hernia specialist in SoCal. So it was actual Valentine's Day, February 14th. And then May 5th, or May 3rd, I saw the hernia specialist, or no, the plastic reconstructive surgeon. And then they told me as I was entering a plane, I was going on a trip somewhere to Charlotte, North Carolina, and they said, "Do you want June 16th or August?" It was supposed to be August 1st or something like it was July 31st. And I said, "Can you give me like, and I'm like, if I go in June, I teach summer school and I'll miss out on that money from the summer school, which is a good check."
Mhm.
And she's like, and she told me, well, I said, I'm getting on the plane right now. And and I thought when she told me I could call her the next day and tell her that they were holding my surgery spot. And I was going to go ahead and take the June date, but when I called, somebody else got it. And she was coordinating between the two surgeons. So I was like, well, there's got to be a reason. There's always a reason. We'll take July 31st. And then, right, it was 1 or 2 weeks before the July 31st. Um, I didn't know I was patient number two for the day. And kind of find out patient number one, their surgery became more critical. And so theirs was going to be a full day surgery. And I don't even think they knew mine was going to take as long as it did until I went in. And so they postponed me for a week, which the only pitfall was I hated the fact that I was going to be away from work for that for one more, it took us longer into the school year. Um and try to find out. I thought I was going to be back to work in 3 weeks. It took me 6 weeks.
To heal from all of that. Because yeah, it's not an easy surgery to have the
No,
skin on your stomach removed. And then
right.
you had the
And the
hernia
hernia
on top.
on top of it, yeah. So my hernia was considered a ventral hernia, which is ventral meaning the center of the stomach. And so because they were going to do a vertical incision, it ended up being 10 inches. So from right below my sternum, um, below my belly button and to that lower section. So a lot of people kind of, tummy tucks are that lower incision. Well,
Okay.
so
Never had one, so I don't.
they I know, and so I ended up having a vertical and a horizontal. And the horizontal, I measured it and it's 18 inches. And so it's hip to hip. And I don't know that that's considered extended or not, but so during the process of seeing the reconstructive surgery, I said, "So can I get skin removed too? Can you remove some of this excess skin?" And because I had rashes, and I told him how I put paper towels under my stomach to soak up any of the sweat. And I had heard from watching other people who had surgery that you should every person doing a tummy tuck, every surgeon should throw in a monsplasty, which is the lower roll area. And I said, and can you do that part too? And he's like, yeah. And so he asked me if I was are you connected, or are you okay? Do you really want your belly button? And I was like, I don't know. I had heard from my research that a lot of people there's more risk of the belly button being in an area of infection. And so I
Mhm.
was kind of like, you know what, if it's gonna risk, infection during recovery, I'm okay. I would be okay if I couldn't get it. And then my daughter said, Mom, I know you're going to be obsessed with the fact that you don't have a belly button. You better talk to the doctor about it. And because my daughter kind of a side, and I'll be really quick because I don't know
Mhm.
how happy she'd be with me talking about it. But my daughter had gastric bypass surgery in 2010, just before my hernia surgery, and she was in the upper 200s. And about 5 or 6 years ago, she had the mommy makeover, and I was her nurse afterwards, and that was kind of scary because she did the whole. It was right after COVID. We went to a surgery center down by Disneyland, and I had to do. We stayed in a hotel for 3 days instead of being in a hospital. So it was weird, but her doctor was specialized in good belly buttons. And so I tried. I even on the day of surgery, I said, do I get a belly button? And he said, you know, your belly button and your hernia are so close together. He said, this surgery's only going to go one way, and we only want it to go one way.
A
Or he's
good
like, we only
way.
want the
Yeah.
surgery to go one way. I said, okay, I will live with that, with that decision. And so now, the incision, it looks like they cut around the belly button, because I have the incision goes down and then it goes around and then down again. So I feel like they cut around the belly button, and then I have the 18 inches hip to hip. And what they do with the monsplasty is they pull up the skin, and that part gets cut off. And so it was 2.2 pounds that they removed of the
Of
skin
skin.
of skin. And so with the vertical part, we thought they were going to have to do a muscle repair. And a couple times before he saw me, and then the day of surgery, and I don't know if it was from what the exercises I was doing, because I was really doing a lot of planks. And one surgeon told me, I had a consult with her for another reason, for maybe future surgeries, but she
Mhm.
said, do planks, don't do crunches. And that was better for the tummy abdominal surgery. And so I was like,
Ooh.
okay. So I did planks. I was doing planks where you reach up behind you and you do your arms underneath. I was getting really strong. And so preparing for surgery, I increased my protein, made sure that I was getting at least as close as possible to 100 grams of protein. And I was boosting up my collagen every day. And a friend of mine sent me a bunch of packages of Juven, which is also protein and collagen, and that's a wound healing powder that you add to your drink and you drink. So I started drinking it a couple of days before surgery, and I took it with me to the hospital, and I showed my doctors, and they were so
Yeah, because
happy
that's
that
important to show your doctor that kind of stuff and not just take some goofy packet of something your
yeah.
friend gave you.
Right? It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I showed them my Juven, and they were so excited that I was taking that, which I don't know why they didn't recommend it to me. They didn't tell me to take it, but they didn't tell me a lot of different things. It's so different, I think, than when you do regular plastic cosmetic surgery. They'll give you a whole long list of things like get your faja, get, your compression garments and all this stuff. But he said, no fancy zippers or fajas. We're going to give you abdominal binder. That's all you need. And he's a young doctor too. So it's not like I went to an older doctor.
Mhm.
Um, I showed him also in the hospital that I had brought my Nuri protein drinks, and that I even brought protein waters that another bariatric doctor, Dr. Barry in Kentucky, he he's created a protein water, and I had that with me, and he said, I'm going to tell my patients about this. And I said, I kind of figured that I would take my own protein bars and my drinks because I didn't think that a hospital would have that, and I was right. So that's a tip for of the day. Take whatever you like to the hospital with you, because once I got cleared for a regular diet, you know what they brought me? Pancakes, hash browns, milk, hot tea, like things that we don't normally eat as bariatric, but the doctors wrote it down as a regular diet, even though I told them ahead of time, give me a diabetic diet. Because if you say diabetic diet, you're pretty clear on low carb, and
Yeah,
things like that.
protein and
Protein, yeah.
fiber.
And I kept missing the nutrition person that would come around, I guess, and take your order or call you. So I didn't get to really put in my request each time, not until the last day. Um, so that was kind of interesting, but they did still have better food. Cedar Sinai, I didn't, people from California usually know that that's where all the stars go to. That's infamous for the stars of famous people. And I've had surgery there before for the hernia surgery. And I really liked them. So my insurance covers any of those hospitals.
That's
And
great.
so, yeah, so I looked at even my daughter, when she had her surgery, she went there too. So we really, if we can go down there, we prefer that hospital. Yeah. Okay. I'm trying to think, where have I left off at?
Okay, so you had your
Insurance
surgery. Okay.
coverage?
Do you
Oh,
want to
because
see
I
some?
had the hernia, it got
Yeah.
covered. So because of the hernia, the I didn't end up needing muscle repair. So that helps in recovery, because otherwise you're slouched over for a few weeks and it's more painful. So he said that surprisingly, my abs were pretty close together. But in the surgery instructions, it did say something about bringing things together. So because they could say their whole thing is, we're going to bring everything together to make this surgery as best as possible, putting in a 10 by 10 mesh. And in the process, she has rashes. We're taking off the excess skin due to rashes, and to for the better, because this is a second recurring. And my insurance came back on the pre-authorization as covered. It's medically
Oh, that's nice.
necessary. Yeah, and my out of pocket was done for the year. I'd already paid. I only have 1,000 per year,
Oh, that's
out
not
of
bad.
pocket. Yeah, and then my copays were all paid up too. Yeah, so I had a zero for uh Florida lead pandalectomy monsplasty.
Wow. Wow, you really lucked out with that because
I
it
know,
is
and I'm
it
so
is
sorry for
very
everybody else.
expensive.
Yeah, I've really looked out in this whole thing, because even Monjaro being covered because of the diabetic maintenance um, diagnosis. Yeah.
Wow, very cool. Well, let's look at her slideshow, Jeff. You want to click on that?
Oh, and that's today.
Oh, hold on.
That's in the, oh yeah.
I'm
How
going
about
to
we
start
start
from the
the,
beginning. There
sorry.
we
Okay.
go. All
300
right.
and probably, I'm sure I was like 315-ish or 313 in that left picture. And then that picture on the right was really close to that one. Well, I had lost 160 pounds. So that was my maintenance, very starting part of my maintenance.
Wow. Yeah, you can
So
really tell with the two pictures
153.
side by side of you losing that 160 pounds.
Yes.
There we go. And there's a bigger one of just
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, the chunky. And this is right after, this has been recovery, right after surgery. I'm looking pretty happy from all the medications.
yeah.
And I think this is day two post-op. Yeah, day two post-op. Um, my daughter, and she's been dating for years. Her boyfriend, she's divorced, and her boyfriend is a doctor, and so it's kind of neat to get to bounce off information from him. So they both came and visited me. They were at Disneyland for the
Beautiful.
day, which is so funny. Thank you. And just, it's funny because when she had surgery, we went to Disneyland during her surgery so that we didn't stress out. But because we couldn't stay there, it was, that post-COVID era. But
Oh
we went to the
yeah.
main. We didn't go on rides. They weren't even open yet. They just had like the main street part done. So this is On the night of surgery, I knew from the time that I had gastric bypass, you got to get me up, get me walking, because this is the best way to recover. I had a nurse on both sides hold on to me, and we walked halfway down the hallway. And then the next day, I walked to the bathroom, and the very next day, the male doctor, the male nurse, RN, he walked me out to this bridge area. It's like it connects one building to the other at Cedar Sinai. And he
Uh-huh.
wasn't he didn't hold on to me or anything. So I said, okay, I guess I better use my leg muscles and my balance. And I walked right behind him. And so by the time my daughter came, I was like, oh, I'm a pro at this now. And she was holding on to me. And so we walked to what they called this the bridge. And I kept walking. I said, look, I'm walking. And they had me on a fall wrist the whole time, and they wanted you to hit your bell. But I don't like waiting for people to come and let me, walk me to the bathroom, especially once I was pretty stable at getting up, and I just walked across the hall to go to the bathroom. Um, and then I was walking the halls, and people and staff down the hall were like, "Who's this patient walking down the hall?" And at first I was a little bit wobbly sometimes, but I did it. And um for me, it's always been really, really good to get up and walk. And I think that's always been a great thing to do.
Couple of questions
So
for
yeah.
you. How
Okay.
many nights did you need to stay in the
Oh,
hospital?
so they were going to discharge me at 2 days, and my husband. So I was supposed to go into a suite. The rooms were all full, and so we were in this unit called, it's like a transition alternative unit. And so the walls were made out of curtains. And that's why I didn't have like a private bathroom. And my husband didn't get a bed. So usually you have like a bed that pulls out for your spouse or your person that's staying with you.
Mhm.
And since they were full, they didn't. And I told my husband, these nurses were so attentive. I said, why don't you go ahead and drive home? I'll be fine. I'd rather him get his sleep. And then he had to work that I had surgery on Wednesday. He had to work on Friday. And so I said, can you guys please keep me for one more day? Because I don't have a ride home, which is 2.5 hours away. And so they kept me for 3 days. And I'm so glad they did, because I feel like that was a big, big help, is having somebody monitor your vitals and making sure you're doing okay. And it just made me feel so much more comfortable knowing that I was down there for 3 days. Yeah.
Okay, now I got another question too while we've got this picture up. And Pam has her own YouTube channel, Mounjaro Journey with Pam, and she did some videos right after having her surgery. I think I saw one where you were like day 4, and those, if you look really
Mhm.
closely, there's these little plastic blood bags
Oh,
hanging from
yeah.
outside her body. You even had those at home
Yes, for 2 weeks.
for 2
Yeah.
weeks. So that's
Drains.
those drains. Now, one of my questions is, were those drains because of the hernia, or would you have had to have those drains also from having the skin
Skin
removal?
removal. You would have to have them for skin removal. I don't think you would have to have them for the hernia repair if they didn't cut me open. And I didn't have liposuction at all. It was only from removing the skin. But oops, I've can you still hear me okay? Let me
Yeah.
go. One of my AirPods fell out. From everyone else that I've seen who've had skin removal, everyone has the JP drains. And I think
Because that
most
was a
people have two.
surprise when I saw your
Oh,
JP drain. You have a
oh,
video where you're putting on like a gauze pad or something, trying to, and you had that drain, and I thought, oh my gosh, because I had a hysterectomy, but female plumbing, you have natural plumbing that
oh,
does
right.
that without any I didn't have any bags of that
Oh,
kind of thing.
yeah. And they
You
go
just
into
wear like
your
a maxi pad.
sides. So, and you can't really tell on here because I have them hanging on me, but the tube came out of each side of me. So one on each side, right above the hip. And that's another reason why it's so hard that you can't even sleep on your side.
Yeah, because you got those
especially with those.
tubes.
Yeah, and they have little stitches that hold them in there together. One time, okay, thankfully this wasn't right after surgery. It was getting close to being taken out. A door handle caught onto one of them, and oh yeah, I stopped it real
Oh,
fast, but that didn't feel good, and thankfully it didn't pull out. But yeah, it's on each side of your body, about 2 inches above your hip, and the tube goes into your body. So I kept trying to feel it. I'd feel it. I could feel the lumpy thing around. Um, and I never looked at there's one that seems to be longer than the other one. And so whenever they take them out, she just had me do a couple of deep breaths. And then I think she was like inching it out. So during surgery, they place him in there. And I knew that there was going to be two because my daughter, when she had, so my daughter only had the lower tummy tuck part. They pulled her stomach down and redid her belly button. And then she had the breast augmentation. But her drains, I believe, now I'm starting to wonder. I thought her drains were for her tummy part, but now I can't remember. But she had two drains also, and
yeah.
whenever they fill up a lot more at the very beginning, and you have to measure them. They give you a measuring cup, a special cup. What it's just like a cup with a measurement. You pour it in there, and then you keep it suctioned, recap it, and then take a measurement, right, log it down, because each drain, both of them have to be under 20 cc's for 3 days, either under 20 or under 15 cc's for 3 days before they will remove them, which is actually a good thing. Like, even though you complain about them because they're such a hassle to take a shower, so I didn't want to buy one of those drain holders because I thought they had little clips like my daughter's did, and she just clipped them underneath her bra area. And mine didn't come with clips, but the nurses put safety pins on them. And so and we just safety pinned them to my hospital gown. Once I got home, I was like, well, I'll just take I had a brand new shoestring, and I read in my instructions ahead of time you could use a shoestring. So I tied that around me and then put the safety pin into the shoestring. When I took a shower, once I was cleared to take a shower, enough of a shower, I put them on a coat hanger, and then I hung the coat hanger not too high and not too, I
Yeah.
needed it to be up high, and I hung it on the shower, and then I just kind of like slowly turned a certain way. They actually said that they wanted me to not like push I have a handheld, not to like force all the water on you, but just kind of like you're washing the tops of your body, and use your regular soap after surgery, and they do
Okay.
want you to do that. um and so every time I took a shower, that's what I did. I hung the drains. I put the drain off of my neck and onto a coat hanger, and I hung it onto my shower. And do you know the first time that I took my abdominal, so it's an abdominal binder that you have to wear, and it's elastic and it's white. I took that off the first time, and the pressure makes your blood pressure drop, and I started to faint, and I could
Oh my
feel,
gosh.
yes, and I could
Oh my
feel it
gosh.
coming on. And so and my husband had just left the area, like he was staying in there to make sure everything was okay. He decided to walk out of the bedroom, but I knew this is what this feels like, and so I went quickly to the sofa that we have at the a little small sofa at the bottom of our bed, and I sat there, and I started whistling because I could whistle real loud, and I whistled for him to come back, and I said, "Ooh, I almost fainted." And you know what? That same evening, I did it again and almost fainted again. And so, so after that, I looked up the information that said to slowly take off, little by little, your abdominal binder, and let the blood pressure, like, don't be real fast about it. Like, do it slowly.
Okay.
And I never had it happen again. But apparently it happens a lot right at the beginning, like maybe your first time. And the PA, yeah, she agreed with me. Yeah, she said, yeah, that's normal, because when you have that abdominal binder, it's so tight, that when you take it off, it messes with your blood pressure. I can't remember the technical
Wow.
stuff on it, but yeah, that was different. And I could tell. Thankfully, I could tell that I was like, "Ooh," you could just feel like your body not feeling good. And I hurried up and got to the sofa.
Wow.
Think there was another question. Oh yeah, so the JP dreams and those my 1 week post-op, they thought they were going to be taking them out, but they were still draining too much. Oh, I know what I was going to say. And it's okay to keep those drains in because you know what? If you don't have them in for those doctors that still agree to have those JP dreams, um I feel like that they're getting all that excess fluid. Otherwise, I'd be a lot more swollen.
Because it's
And
taking
so
out the extra gunk.
that, yeah, all that swelling. It starts going from looking like more like blood into more pinkish light color. And if you do have an infection, you can see because your drain would be more yellow, and that will
Okay.
tell you that you can see it visually. So
Do they
that's I
tell
think that's
you,
a good thing.
if the color starts changing, call the doctor right away?
Yes, yeah, yeah, they told me that. Um, so even though it was a pain in the booty, I was okay with it. And so the first week I couldn't get him out. And funny thing is, the next day they stopped draining as much, but I had to go a whole nother week before they took him out, to go down there for another week later. Yeah.
Okay, so 2 weeks with those drains.
Yes. And
Wow.
I feel like that's the usual is 2 weeks. And that's my picture today. So a front and a
Yay,
side.
look how
And
skinny you are.
isn't it crazy? And
Yeah, you
even
look great.
here we called my hernia the alien baby. And even after losing 160 pounds, I there's some parts that you can't always enjoy because you have loose skin. But and then for me, I had this hernia. And so I was always trying to wear a tank top that was kind of like more stretchy that would kind of hold it in a little bit without it being too suffocating. And then I would wear baggy tops. And I just started telling my students because some people would notice that I noticed. And I said, "Hey guys, I just want to let you know I'm not pregnant." I just- it's a hernia. And I would just, I thought, well, this is a teachable moment. And I didn't want them to feel bad, because one of them was like, "Miss, what's that on your stomach?" And they apologized, but I said, "No, you know what? I'm glad you asked. Let me just tell you, because I'm gonna be as transparent as I can without it being too much." Yeah. But yeah, now I get to actually this is for the first time this top. I could never wear these snug tops because you would be able to see the hernia, and the hernia was like bigger than a grapefruit. Like it stuck out that much. Yeah,
Oh,
and
wow.
sideways. Yeah, it was if you take your hand like this is how much it stuck out. Like a ball,
Oh,
big ball.
wow. Like a little alien baby, but now it's gone.
Yeah. Yes. And the other thing is a lot of people think you cut it off. They're like, "Did you get it cut off?" And I go, technically it's like an inner line. It's where the because they cut all the way through everything for gastric bypass, you even though it was all healed 10 years later, it's always going to be a weak spot, just like an earthquake, a fault. The earth, when there's going to be an earthquake, it's looking for the weakest point. So that's always going to be a weak point anywhere where you cut into the body. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, so I said they're all they're doing is the hernia was the intestines poking out, and it created a little pouch in from that inner lining, the extra lining, or I guess we have all these layers, but it created this pouch, and it was like a perfect ball. And they just push everything in. Well, not in my case because they opened everything up, but essentially what you're doing is you're pushing your intestines in, and you're sewing up and putting a mesh in front of the hernia. And
To hold it
apparently,
all in.
yeah, to hold it all in. And there's a lot of people who have ventral hernias. I had a gentleman who saw my I don't know if it was YouTube or Instagram, and he's in Switzerland, and he's following me now because whenever he was searching about ventral hernias, I came up. And I think it was my
Wow.
Instagram. Yeah, and Instagram is just easier to post, and so I'll do more daily videos on Instagram. But I would love to get my Instagram is at a little over 1,000 followers or friends,
Mhm.
and it would be really cool to be 1,000 in YouTube land.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
I know.
Yeah, so definitely go over to Pam's and like and subscribe. And did you put all, I didn't check if you did it as a playlist. Did you put all of your
Oh, that's a
up with your surgery? It needs to be a
no, but
special
that's a
playlist.
okay. Oh, that's a good
I'm
idea.
telling you, Pam, you make it a
Okay.
playlist and put all the videos of your recovery, from the
Okay.
how do you say
I
it, Jeff?
know. Panniculectomy.
Yes, the
Panniculectomy. Yeah.
panniculectomy or whatever,
Yeah.
and you can put a description of your playlist. And so in the
Okay.
description, use that weird word, and then also say
Yeah.
skin removal surgery for us common people who don't know the name panniculectomy or whatever,
Right.
skin removal surgery. And so you're going to put all of that in the description of your playlist. Come up with a cute
Okay.
title, or say, my tummy skin removal might be a good name for your playlist. And
Okay.
I will tell you, when I had my hysterectomy back in May of 24, I did videos like you. I did a video the day before I went to surgery, the morning of surgery, before the surgery, getting ready to go in. When they kicked me, I didn't even get to spend the night. They kicked me out right away.
Yeah.
And I was not ahead of my pain when I left the hospital. So that kind of scared me
Ooh.
that I wasn't
Yeah.
ahead of it. And they were like, "You'll be fine. Here's some drugs that you can take or whatever." I'm like, okay. Fortunately, I'm not very far from the hospital. It's only like a 10 to 15-minute drive.
Oh, good.
But it was a painful drive getting home. But then once I was ahead of the medication, where the medication was ahead of the pain, then I was fine. Like the next day, I was able to stay ahead of it. But every day, so I could remember what it was. So if someone else was nervous about getting a hysterectomy, they could go, okay,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be next week. What is it going to be like? They could see day by day me getting better and feeling better and talking about it. Well, that playlist a year ago when it happened, I don't know, I had like 1 or 200 views, and that was it of each video. It's a year later. Now that playlist is taken off, and all of those videos
Wow.
have over 1,000 views on it. And there are people every
Oh.
single day who go on and they watch those, and they'll ask me questions, and then I'll
Oh.
respond to them because they're worried because they need to have a hysterectomy, or they just had
Mm.
theirs, or they're on the day of whatever day I did that particular video or whatever. And that really has taken off. But it's so funny. It didn't take off a year ago. A year ago, it did about
Wow.
100, and then it stopped. And there was like no one watching it, no one watching it, no one watching it. And then out of nowhere, it just took off. And now it's
Oh,
helping a lot of
wow.
people. And yours
Yes.
will help a lot of people too, because there's a lot of us doing Mounjaro. Now, I am a slow loser. If this is your first time coming on to Anchor Moments, you were just kind of curious about skin removal surgery. My name is Gina. This is my
I
husband, Jeff.
don't call her a loser.
But I am very much a slow loser. I have taken 88 shots today. I'll be taking my 89th shot of Mounjaro, and I'm down 51 pounds now from my highest weight. But when I started taking Mounjaro on January 10th of 2024, I'm down 43 pounds, because I lost a pound this week. 43 pounds
Yay.
um, since I started. But it's not like, wow, you lost like so little each week. No, it doesn't. It's what the problem is. I did lose 1 to 2 pounds a week, is what I was doing, about 1 to 2 pounds a week, which was great for a little bit. And then my body got used to where I was. And then I've had lots of what did they call that? Stalls, or like
Stalls, yeah.
stalls. I've had lots of stalls, and I just looked at the calendar, and that calendar showed me that a calendar where I wrote how much weight I lost or whatever. That a year ago today, I've lost 16 pounds.
Hmm.
So not a lot, but I lost, about almost 30 pounds, kind of came off pretty well, a pound or two a week. And then every now and again having a week that you had a maintenance week, and then another pound, and then maybe 2 pounds. But then after that first 30 pounds, it's been pretty slow, but I'm still losing, but
Yeah.
truly a slow loser, because
Because in the past, you
for
think
last
about,
year, just 16 pounds.
and it's always so hard. And like you and I were saying, like we could only lose 25 pounds and
Yeah.
then be stuck.
But the
Yeah.
cool thing is that, I'm sorry, someone rang the
Oh, I thought
doorbell.
I heard the door. Yeah.
Um, but the cool thing is yeah, I've only lost an additional 16 pounds since September of last year. However, I didn't gain any weight back. So I have kept all of that weight off and then have added to it. And I was down about 8 pounds before I started Mounjaro from my highest weight. And so when you look at my profile picture, that was me 51 pounds ago. But it stayed off. And so that's good. But losing so slowly, the only advantage I have about losing it so slowly is I don't have excess skin, because
Hmm.
it just takes
Get
so long
shrinking.
for me to, my body's, my skin's able to shrink down with the fat, because I'm losing so slowly, but it's still coming. And I've
My
lost inches and that thing. So
Yeah. My sister was slow. Now, my sister, her diabetes was already above this. I can't remember what her highest was, and my sister only started, I think she was at 235 or 240, and she just got in. She's at 160 right now, and she started it before I did, so she's been on Monjaro for over 2 years. And I know that has to be frustrating for her, because she's shorter than me, and so she
yeah, I'm short
technically
too.
like will have to. So I'm 5'4", and I think she's 5'1" ish, somewhere around there, because we had the same dads and different moms, but we're so much alike. It's incredible. We weren't even raised together. We didn't know each other until later, but we're so much alike. It's crazy. Genetics are strong. But yeah, and here I was always 100 pounds more than her. And so she has just been so excited and proud of me. And it really helped to motivate her too. And I'm so excited for her. And so for a while there, I got to send her some clothes. Like once 12s were too big for me, I sent them to her. And now I said, well, sis, I can't send you any more clothes because now you're catching up to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I definitely they say that it does take a little bit longer when you do have type 2
Type 2
diabetes.
diabetes
And
too. Yeah.
yeah, and I've
But
heard
I'm
so many
so
doctors say,
happy. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean,
and
I'm so happy to get those 50 pounds off. My knees used to
yes,
hurt so bad. It was hard for me to walk upstairs. And now my knees don't hurt, and I can just walk up and down stairs, just
like a
as
normal
normal
person,
and
right?
be. Yeah.
Yeah.
And my A1C now is 5.6. It might even be lower. I need a 6-month checkup. So, but I've got to find a new doctor, because my doctor of 35 years retired. And then he had a replacement 6 months ago, and I went and saw the replacement, and the replacement put me on from 10 milligrams to 12 and a half milligrams of Mounjaro, but he has since quit. And so now I don't have a doctor at the moment.
Darn
So
it.
I've got to find
Oh,
one, and I'm researching now where I'm going to go, because I want to go to one place and then that be it, and stay there for another 35 years or whatever. So, but I'm hoping that whoever my next doctor is, that they'll move me up to 15 milligrams, because it
mm.
has been so slow. And I don't have bad side effects. I just have to stay ahead of constipation. But that's really it. That, and I'm not as hungry. And I did lose a pound this week, but my secret this week, because I was looking at it going, good grief, it's taken me forever. What is going on? And I realized that it's like my body has put me on maintenance. My body's really happy where I'm
Mm.
at right now. So my body is just like, and I'm not gaining weight, because I'm not hungry where I'm going to be snacking, but I
Oh,
still get
good.
hungry. get hungry for a little hungry for breakfast, then I'm a little hungry around lunch, and I'm little hungry at dinner time, and and so I eat when I'm hungry, and I stop when I'm full, and I don't eat
Hmm.
overstuffed, which is why I'm keeping the 50 pounds off. The 50 pounds aren't coming back on. But what I noticed is I was like, huh, I'm gonna try extra hard. I'm gonna try extra hard this week because I really want to get some more weight off, because my BMI is still in the 30s, and it was in the 40s, but now I'm in the 30s. But you're supposed to get it down into the 20s, and it's not in the 20s. I still have weight that I need to lose, and before I went to bed, I was a little hungry, and I thought, if I'm a little hungry, I eat a little something. I'm not going to eat a little something and see how I do. And because when I eat, it's just a little something, but it's whatever amount of calories I might be in a deficit. So maybe I was in a deficit of 200 calories, but if I eat 200 calories, then I'm gonna gain weight. Oops, I think we might have lost Pam. We've been. Oh no, she's back.
Oh, a phone.
Yes, we just
I had to
lost you
stop
for
a
a
phone
second.
call. That's what it
Oh,
was.
okay. We just lost you for a second, but I'm glad you're back. So anyway, so all week before I go to bed, when I'm feeling like, oh, I could just feel like if I could just have like a cheese stick or something, just like a little something, I'm not having that little something. And then I finally lost 1 more pound. So I've got 1 more pound off. So I was like, yay. And then I found an old journal where I'd written how much I weighed and when I had done measurements. And I hadn't done measurements in a year. So I've lost, there's one measurement I forgot to do, around my hips. So other than my hip measurement, I'm down 13 and a half inches from my arms, my neck, my knees, my calves. I measured my thighs, my waist. And when I added all that up, I'm like, okay. And then I realized I was going to announce it. And I thought, oh, wait, I've got to measure my hips, but I ran out of time to put that in there. But I am down 16 pounds, but wow, a solid year.
I know,
I
but
know,
you're
like, oh
doing
my
it.
gosh. But that 16 was part of the 43. But so it did come off faster in the beginning. But I am pretty slow of a loser. But I'm a very good maintainer now, and I never was a good maintainer before. It was always just I'd always just get heavier and heavier and heavier. It seemed like every year.
Mhm. Me too. Exactly. Right. And one of the things that I noticed is that I also, if I had a little bit of a stall, if I stopped eating at 8 o'clock, which was really hard
Mhm.
for a long time, it would help me to lose weight too.
Yeah.
But my nighttime snacking was probably one of my downfalls. So I have to watch that because sometimes that kind of comes back too. Um, because I actually still had hunger, but it was the true hunger, and I knew it was true
Yeah, and it's
hunger.
a true hunger. Like it
Yeah.
really is. And a lot of times I wear a Freestyle Libre. I need to put a new one on. I don't have one on at the moment, but I need to put a new one on. And so you can see my sugars. I mean, it's not so low I'm gonna pass out or something, but
Yeah.
you can
Okay.
tell. I'm under 100 with my sugar, and yeah, I'm a little hungry because my body's a little hungry. Um, so it's not I'm still eating over 1,000 calories. So it's not like I'm too low and I'm not eating, because that
Yeah.
happens too. If you don't eat enough calories, your body
Hmm.
will think you're in starvation mode and it'll hang on to that fat for dear life. But
Yes.
it's not that for me either. I know I'm eating enough calories. I know I've eaten at least 1,000 calories, and definitely under 2,000, but probably around the 1,500 or so. But
Hmm.
there are times that maybe I didn't do that much that day, where maybe I only needed 13 or whatever,
Right.
but I need to be working on that deficit and not giving in before I go to bed that, oh, just eat a little something, that if I don't, maybe my pounds will start slowly coming off
Yeah.
again. But
Well, and
I'm
I've heard you
trying.
ask other people what did they do when they were in a stall,
Oh yeah.
and
Can
that,
you tell us anything you've done
yeah.
when you've hit stalls?
So I same thing. So I would purposely make sure that I didn't eat after 8 o'clock. And in the morning I always do a protein drink. So I don't really have a breakfast until 10 or 11 o'clock. And I'll
Mhm.
do like overnight oats. But so I would make sure not to eat late. So for me, I tried to do that. If your sun is when the sun is down, don't eat after the sun is down, and don't eat again until after the sun is up, minimally. And
Mhm.
then I would, because sometimes I felt like I wasn't eating enough, and so I would have an In-N-Out burger, and I was like, wow, and it would break the stall. It was crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think I was eating too far into a deficit, and my basic metabolic rate is 1445, and so I'm pretty sure that when I was at a stall it was because I was eating too not enough. And then I wasn't getting, I was thinking I was being good about my water, but then I thought, oh, as long as I keep a 40-ounce
Mhm.
tumbler, then, and I get at least two of
Me
them,
too.
yeah, that helps a lot.
Mhm.
When I do the cups and stuff, it
It
doesn't
does.
help me as much. Yeah. Because it's like,
Mhm.
okay. And if I can get more than two, even better, because I tried to get to 100, but that for me, I was like,
Yep.
okay, 80 is good, and at least minimal. And then so water, and then I wasn't walking as much as I was usually walking. So I made sure to walk at least 30 minutes, and it didn't have to be all at once. Like if I did a lunch break and walked for 15 minutes, and then 15 or 20 minutes when I got home, those were like golden for me. Like walking is so underrated. I only walked, and I wish that I would have done more strength training, because I kind of had to do bounce back, like getting some of those muscles back. And I didn't want to muscle train because I didn't want to gain weight from muscles. So, what do they call that? Disordered thinking.
Yes.
Um, and so, but I also, some people can't, sometimes it takes a while to get used to this, but I did weigh myself every day, and I know
Mhm.
some days that kind of made me depressed, but once I saw the trends of how I go up the days before the shot and I go down after the shot, at least the second day after the shot I go down, and I got to see the wiggles. So my scale, I'm trying to see, how does this go on here? My scale, when I look at the Renfro app, I have a wiggle all the way down, because all throughout the week. And I like that I have that data. I didn't have a Renfo scale until I was 200 pounds. The other time I had an old Judy Craig scale. So the only thing I had was when I inputted it into my heart app on my phone. But it's really cool to see the trends, because
Mhm.
then I knew that, okay, this is when I go up, and I'm not going, I'm not peeing too much, and I'm not doing this. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh, I'm calling the security guards. I need to go to the bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom. And those days when you're just like flushing, and then
Yeah.
sure enough, like the next day, I dropped like 3 pounds. It was crazy. So yeah, I just found out it's not all linear, and it definitely is a lot of wiggles along the
Right.
way.
There
But
are wiggles.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I have a doctor scale with the old doctor scale with the weights that
yeah,
you
your
move
mom
across the
scale,
thing.
right?
Yes, and I
Yes.
weigh myself every day. I don't write it down, but I weigh myself every day, and whatever my lowest weight of the week is, that's what I really weigh. Because you know what? I don't want to miss the one morning that I pooped good or whatever, and
Right.
and I got my lowest weight. So I do it every, and so if it's, and I go up and down 2 pounds,
Yeah.
consistently, whatever the lowest is, and I've had 3 days with this in a row with this 1 pound gone. So I'm really excited about that. Like finally, the
Sometimes
needle's
I went
moving
up
a
three
little bit.
pounds. I would go 3 pound. My
Yeah,
fluctuations is a lot of times like up to 3 pounds. Yeah. But
yeah,
same thing, like, yeah, it's a crazy, but it's nice to know what your trends are.
exactly, exactly. But yeah. So any other advice that you've done on a stall?
I think, oh, and make sure you get at least, for me, a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. The sleep is
Sleep really
crucial.
helps. Yes.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
got better sleep this week too.
Oh, good. Yeah. Sleep, water. protein. I forgot to mention that, but
Yeah.
it's not just about the calorie deficit, but it is getting the protein in, movement, and if we can do some muscle strengthening, and it doesn't have to be very much. Once I finally could do muscle strength, it was just picking up hand weights and doing the arm workouts. Squats are a lot easier now than I ever thought. And I didn't know that I could do push-ups, not pull-ups, but I could do push-ups, and I could do
Mhm.
plunge it. Am I saying the wrong word? Planks. I mean, they and wall balancing, like you sit up against the wall and you squat down and you hold yourself. I wish I would have done a lot of those, not all the time, but at least I would say as soon as I had dropped to the 100 pounds, probably, or 80 pounds, because there was a lot of muscle loss, and especially because I've lost 100 pounds 3 times.
Yeah.
And after gastric bypass, you lose weight fast and muscle loss. So yeah, I wish I would have done that, but hey, I'm doing it now.
Yep. So strength training, yep, is a good way to go. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The next person that I'm going to be interviewing is Twan, and
Oh,
she
yes.
has a YouTube channel. And she's precious, and she's lost over 100 pounds, and she's still just going, going, going. She's not on maintenance yet. She still has a ways to go, like me. And oh, she's just precious, and she has a lot of videos of herself
I love her.
exercising. And
Yes.
he just started 3 days ago a 50 squats a day challenge, 10-day 50 squats a day challenge. So today is day 3 for me to do my 50 squats. And when I do squats anyway, when I'm on my vibration plate, but I don't count
Me
how many squats I'm
too.
doing. I'm just, every minute or two, I'll do like 2 or 3 squats, and then back up. But the last 2 days, I've done my 50 squats. So if anyone wants to join us, do those 50 squats. I emailed,
Me.
I've been messaging her in the comment section of her different videos because I know that helps her too. You guys, when you like and
Yes.
subscribe, and if you give a comment, it
And
really makes
watch.
a difference. And so
Play the
I
video and just
did
leave it
that.
on. Play
Yeah,
the video
yeah.
and just leave it on.
Yes, and I appreciate that too. And so I've been messaging in comments with her, and she is interested in being on the show. And I reached out to her on her email and asked her if she could do next Monday. So fingers crossed that we'll have Twan with us next
Yay.
Monday. That would be so fun to have her. And then I'll be able to tell her if I made that 10-day challenge, because that'd be getting close to the end of the 10 days on Monday. So which
You know
would be
what's
fun.
funny? Today during my lunch, I saw she is Tamika was having the 50-day challenge, and I saw
Or you
that
mean
she
the
was on
50 day
day
or the
two.
50 squats?
Oh, sorry, 50
50 squats
squats.
for
Yeah.
10 days.
So I'm gonna start doing it. So now that I'm cleared to do
Yeah.
that, I'm gonna join. Yes.
All
Because I was
right. Well, you can
doing
start
I
today, could be day
yeah,
one, or
I
tomorrow,
will.
day
Yeah, I
one.
started it with my tooth when I brush my teeth. I do squats whenever I'm brushing my teeth too.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
doesn't take that long. You can do
Right.
50 squats in a couple minutes. Just the up and down, up and
Yes.
then
Like just
squat
tap
like
your
you're gonna sit
chair.
on a chair, and then but you're not sitting
Mm-hmm.
on the chair, and up, and then
Yeah.
you know, but
You
you
know
really
what's
can't. You
funny?
just see my head going up and
We
down. But
Oh yeah. So we had a 30-day squat challenge before my surgery. I only made it to day 15 because it ran into my surgery. But do you know that with that TikTok squat challenge, I reposted it to YouTube and I was getting 1,000 views for each of those videos. I was surprised. And you
well,
just
maybe
put
I'll
in
have to
squat
put some of my
challenge.
squat challenge on there and do it as
Do
a short,
it.
'cause that's what she's done. And she has a
Yeah.
different fun music that she's doing each day of it. Oh, she's so cute. She is so cute.
Oh,
Uh,
nice.
she's really precious. So I'm
Minty.
looking forward to
Oh,
having her. Well, we got some questions here, so let's
yeah.
let's let's see what we got
Okay.
going in the comments. We got Mindy in the house. Woohoo! And we got Denise Walker's here. Yay! And Grant. So nice to have you guys. And Barb, health at any cost. Woohoo! And let's see here. Oh, I gotta put my glasses on. Actually, these are just glasses. These are extra strong, so I should really be able to see.
I
Oh,
love
there
how
we go.
everybody says hi to everybody. I love that.
I know. We have a really nice community here. All right. And that's Elaine. We got Elaine in the house. Hi, Elaine. And Robin Lockwood. Woohoo. And Journey of Life. And Sandy Murphy's here. She says, hey, all, I'm excited to watch this interview. We're glad to have you here, Sandy. And Denise Walker, yep, saying hi to everybody. And we got Sid here too. Now, Sid has also had the panty. She calls it, she had hers on August 18th. Oh my goodness, vertical and hottie panty. Easiest surgery I ever had. I was back to work in 5 days. Wow, Sid. My question.
I wonder if she meant a vertical and a horizontal.
I don't know. She's a vertical and a hottie, but maybe she was trying to write horizontal. You never know, because sometimes,
right, that happens to me.
The whatchamahoochie where it spell checks, but it changes your words. And Denise is in the house, says, hello, Grant. Looking forward to hearing about her surgery and saying hi to everyone. And Denise is impressed that, 5 days back to work after having that done. So I wonder if Denise still had the little tubes hanging out from her with the
the JP drains
going in there. Yeah, those special drains. Wow. And Cindy, Taz the Bulldog's mom's in the house. Yay, giving us love. And so is Anna. Hi, Anna. And Sin says, I would definitely recommend the surgery if your insurance will pay. And so Pam, would you do it again if you had to do it over again?
Yes. And even if I had to pay, I would do it again.
Okay. So the pain was worth it. And was it super painful?
Okay. I think the good thing is the funny thing is I feel like the pain is I'm not getting any pain from the lower horizontal. Is that the lower where if you just got a tummy tuck, I'm not getting any pain from that. And it's nice and tight and hard there. The pain I'm getting is more of a burning sensation. The nerves wake up and they call them zaps. And you know how you were talking about zaps? I felt zaps in my stomach. And that's a weird feeling. You get that like that second week post-op was the zaps. And like today I've been burning a lot. So I've been taking a little bit more Tylenol more often. And I think it's because I'm using my abdomen to talk loud to the students, like trying to get them to settle down and be quiet. Yeah. So I wasn't feeling this much pain or burning when I was at home. So, but what I do it's funny though, if it was no hernia and it was a stomach, I was more concerned about my arms and my legs than my stomach. But now that I've had the stomach, I like putting on my underwear and it fits like it's supposed to. And I'm like, oh, wow. Because usually it's like, oh, do I wear underwear over the belly part or under the belly? And I would wear underwear to hold the belly in. And it's really nice just to have it flat. I never thought that I would like that. But now that I'm here now, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is really nice. And the clothes are fitting better. So that's really nice. It's funny. I told my husband, well, if there's something, you can always get your arms fixed and your legs fixed. And he goes, there's a surgery for everything now. But the way he said it, I thought maybe he doesn't want me to have surgery, but he always tells me,
he has to worry about you when you're under,
yes, yeah. Because every time I ask him, like, should I get these lifted? He's like, whatever you want to do, whatever makes you happy. I'm not so concerned about this, but the arms, I'm self-conscious about it because you see it without these shirts on. You see it. I've found sleeves that I can wear under short sleeves that are more made for like working out and they're real thin and they don't make you hot. So if I'm wearing a short sleeve shirt, I can wear sleeves and they just kind of go around your neck and around your arms. Um, and I would love to be able to wear shorts again, and I won't wear shorts in public or even a dress until my legs are taken care of. So, I mean, and that's just me. That's just my self-conscious.
Yeah, mine are really lumpy bumpy.
Mine too. Mine are really bad. Yeah. Yeah. That's my worst part of my body is my legs.
Me too. Sandy says, wow, Pam, my journey is similar. I had open gastric bypass in July of 2000. Kept my weight off until I went through a divorce around 5 years later and started gaining again. Wow, you're the third person who's told me this. 5 years. It lasted about 5 years, and then the weight came back on.
Wow. You know, my daughter's the only one I know, maybe that one of the very few who've kept it off this whole time. She's not been on a GLP-1, but she's kept her weight off after gastric bypass for 15 years now.
Wow. Wow, that's
Yeah, I'm
great. She looks
amazed. I
fantastic.
know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she looks
well, and
fantastic in
then
your.
she had the skin removal on her stomach too.
Oh, good. Good for her. And Bia is in the house too, saying hi to us. Hi, Bia. And Cindy says, so true, Pam. I I started losing weight after dealing with the self-love that I never gave myself. After looking at pics of myself, I was thin, but the verbal abuse of telling me I was fat, that's what I thought.
Mm, yep.
Yeah. And she says, you look amazing.
Thank
You know,
you.
um, I think back now, like when I was, when I first married Jeff, I was trying so hard to be that elusive 110 pounds on Weight Watchers, and oh my gosh, it was so hard. And I was so hard on myself. And I'm like, you know what? I wasn't that bad when I was like 135,
Mm-mm.
140 pounds. I felt like I was so fat. And I think, oh gosh, I'd kill to be that skinny now.
Right? I
and I
know.
and I wish I would have taken more pictures back then too. But I felt like I was so chubby, and really, I wasn't that bad back then.
Mm-mm. I know.
But
Same
it's
here.
that self-talk too. Gosh darn. Yep, and Anna thinks you look fantastic. I do too.
Oh,
Oh, and
thank
Grant's got a
you.
real question. And thanks, Grant, for
Okay.
putting those cues next to it. My wife has lost 140 pounds and has been on a waiting list for excess skin removal surgery. She's actually a teacher too. Anyway, she is finally scheduled for surgery on December 11th. Any advice for her? That's a great question, Grant.
That's good. Yeah. So, and this is what I've been noticing with a lot of people, and some really good surgeons are recommending this, but leading up into surgery to help you with so you don't have wound breakdown after surgery, is to get the protein, whether, like even if it was a person who didn't have surgery, but getting your protein as close to like 90 to 100 if you can, but that upper high, getting the protein up, hydration is key, and adding the collagen. You don't have to do the juven until right before surgery and after surgery, or even if it's right after. But protein, collagen, hydration, and yeah, strength training, because if you, depending on where you're having your surgery, you got to use the other parts to help you move around. So like
Oh,
just
yeah,
like after, yeah, like after gastric
even your
bypass, I had
arms,
to, yeah, like,
pulling yourself up.
you're right. So you can't use your stomach. So you got to use your arm to roll out of bed. So you grab onto first your hospital to roll your stuff out. You move your legs. Um, and so I'm so glad that I was stronger in my arms and my legs before surgery. So I was doing a lot of upper body workouts, and I was in lower body, but I was able to do my core workout before surgery. I just didn't do crunches because the doctor had told me for my vertical part that
Mhm.
they didn't want my muscles to tighten that direction. They said planks were like a better thing for my surgery. So if you happen to have a fleur de lis, it's an upside down T. So they'll call it FDL or fleur de lis. And so my doctor was also saying fleur de lis with panniculectomy. Um, Panniculectomy is the bottom part. And the vertical, not everybody has to do the vertical, but once you have a vertical and a horizontal, it's considered a fleur de lis, like the French flower. Think about
Oh,
that. Yeah. So
okay.
upside down T is a fleur de lis or FDL. So if you have to have a vertical, then planks are better than crunches. But yeah, it's just strength training, hydration, protein, collagen. Did I mention, is that it? And strength
And you
training?
really liked that pillow.
And the
uh
wedge pillow, yeah,
the
because
wedge pillow, Grant.
a lot of people tell you to overbuy on a lot of things. I didn't even have to buy bandages, but I did buy some bandages from Amazon before. But my doctors ended up providing me with bandages, and I didn't even leak. Like some people are saying, "Oh, buy puppy pads in case you leak to put on the bed." I didn't leak. Like I just had the drains. So but I've heard if you have a 360 the whole body 360 lower body lift, then you might have more seepage from your incisions. Um, and but I bought puppy pads on Amazon just in case, so I have all those. So don't overbuy. Just prepare. Getting your body in the best shape it can be in going into surgery is going to help you recover better, is what it comes down to. And you have
That is
less wound
really good.
breakdown.
That's
Yeah,
really good advice. Thank you.
you're
Really good
welcome.
advice. Thanks for asking that question, Grant.
Yes, that's a good one.
And Sin says, I was able to go back to work so soon. I work from home and it's a desk job.
Oh.
Oh, okay. That would make sense.
Oh, okay.
And so if you do, you've got the drains, no one's seeing those drains because you're
That's
at
right.
home and you can, still be wearing comfortable clothes while you're working.
That's right.
And Grant says, I remember you saying to be sure to wear the binder they give you on a prior live chat.
Oh, did I say that? Oh, okay. Yes, the binder. And some people wear the binder maybe even up to a year. It really, so my doctor said wear it to your comfort, whatever makes you feel comfortable. And let me just tell you, I don't really like mine off very long, because I feel more of the tugging kind of feeling. Um, so I do feel so much better having the binder on, and sometimes I even readjust it and make it tighter. It just makes you more comfortable. Like you would think it'd be uncomfortable. Like in my mind, I thought it'd be more uncomfortable, but it's not.
Okay. And Cindy says, I work from home desk job, so I didn't need much downtime. Oh, that's great, Sin.
Yeah.
And
Good.
Deb Zimmerman says, hi everyone. And everyone's saying hi to each other. And Grant remembered that Zofran was the name of that medication that helps you with nausea. Hey, we got GLP-1 Journey in Review in the house. Hi.
Oh.
And Journey of Life says, I'd love to know the doctor's name for the cute belly button. I'm in California as well.
The one that gives you a cute one?
That gave your daughter the cute belly button.
I know, because she was telling me that her doctor was known for having good belly buttons. And she's like, we were at a concert. We went to the Jelly Roll concert, and she said, Mom, that one over there, you can tell she had a tummy tuck because the direction of how her belly button was. And I was like, oh, wow. Like I'd be happy with how her belly button looked. Um, yeah, her doctor is still, he's like very popular on Instagram too. So, and then I think there's a few now, a few more than
Do you
hers.
remember his
But I could
name?
always, and I can't look on Instagram right now, but I'll see if I can find it for is Cindy, right?
For Journey of Life.
For Journey. Okay, so let me look right now. We'll keep going.
Okay. And let's see, we got Deb in the house. And oh, thanks, Journey of Life, reminding everyone to hit the like button. I appreciate that big time. And Cindy says, Cedars was my client. Love them.
Oh, I wonder. That's pretty. I forgot what does Cindy do in the medical field? Wow, that's so cool.
And Cindy is in Taz the Bulldog's mom's name is Cindy, and she lives in Tennessee now. She used to be in
Wow.
northern Arizona and near
I
Kingman.
Oh, maybe she told me that she was also. Let me see.
Aw, Journey of Life says, amazing story. What blessings you've got.
Oh, thank you. I do
Absolutely.
feel blessed, especially even getting the medication, the Mounjaro. Thank
And Anna
you.
says, Pam, that's great. Amazing. Grant says, and can you let me know the name of the wedge you used?
I don't know the
Grant,
name.
we'd gotten, it was at Costco, and her friend bought extra ones at Costco and gave it to her. And we had one from Costco. We bought it and we put it in our van we have one of those wedges. So when we travel in our van, that on the outside it's a passenger van, but on the inside it's been converted, and we go traveling in it. But I can't remember the name of it. But if you, I don't know, they might still be selling them at Costco. We probably got it 3 months ago. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know
Hard to
whenever I
say.
got right, when I got mine, it was April or May from her because it was at
Yeah.
towards the end of the school year. And they come vacuum packed they have them rolled up vacuum packed and you cut them and then it expands open, I think, if I remember
And you
correctly.
get it in their section where they sell sheets and stuff at Costco,
Mm.
is where you usually find those. But I think they might have them at other stores as well, and definitely online,
And
I would think.
Amazon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Journey of Life says, you and your daughter are beautiful. Yes, you two were. Your picture, the two of you
Thank
guys are so
you.
stinking cute. Oh, and Denise liked for us. Thank you so much, Denise. And Dawn Kiffer's in the house and said, good grief, I'd have to stop eating at 4:45 when it gets dark. If you only ate when it's light
Oh,
out. Yeah, because remember in the
shoot.
wintertime, it gets dark so fast.
That's right.
And
I
Dawn
probably
said,
didn't follow that during the
yeah,
winter time.
in the wintertime. Yeah. Dawn
Yeah.
says, I weigh daily, then track the average for my weekly. Yep, that is really smart, Dawn. And Traveling T says, Twan is such an inspiration. Isn't she? I just love her. I'm so excited she wants to be on my show. And I'm really hoping I can have her next Monday. I don't know when Jeff and I are going to travel again, but we want to go somewhere in the fall because it's always so fun to camp under fall leaves in other
Oh.
locations. And we're trying to hit all 50 states, but Alaska and Hawaii, we'll try to do a cruise on those someday. But the 48 that are all next to each other, and we've gotten 27 down so far and a bunch more to go. So I know next Monday for sure I'll be home. And that's best for me to do interviews when I've got good Wi-Fi. And Dawn says, I'm up for the squat challenge. Yay, you can join us. That's great, Dawn. And Journey of Life says, hey, hey. And Grant says, my wife is getting the FDL.
Oh, yeah. So she's going to have the vertical and the horizontal. She's going to get
Okay.
so that'd be just like my incision. It's just the only difference is I have this big old mesh inside, but that's wow. So what did I say? Not plunges, planks. Planks are really good, not
Links
crunches.
are really good. Now, Cindy says she was in Newport Beach and then she moved to Arizona 3 years ago and then Tennessee. And she works for a hospital compliance. Ooh.
Oh,
Someday.
my doctors,
Yeah.
yeah, a lot of the doctors, even though my doctor practiced in Cedar Sinai, his actual office is in Marina Del Rey, which is by Newport Beach. And so some of their doctors will go between those areas too.
Cool. And at some point, Cindy, I am going to visit you in Tennessee, and I'm really maybe this possibly this winter because we're gonna go to Florida and then South Carolina and North Carolina again, and then maybe a little bit more north. Definitely want to see Grant in West Virginia because that's so close there. I was so close. So, and that's another state I've never been to before ever in my life, let alone in the van.
Mm.
But next time I'm in Tennessee, Cindy, I would love to do a live with you. And I bet there's a lot of people who would have really great questions about hospital compliance too. That'd be really nice to pick your brain. And Traveling T says the wedge is on Costco's website with no shipping fee. Amazon also. Yay. Thank you, Traveling T. And Grant says, West Virginia is beautiful in the fall. It is pretty far, though. We have to be back in November because Jeff has his 3-month cancer checks, his bladder cancer checks still. And I chair an event for kids. I help kids at Sunshine Acres Children's Home we bring them a free store that they can shop for Christmas presents for their friends and family. And it's so fun. And I work with a lot of different Girl Scout troops and stuff to put that together. And I've been doing it since my daughter was a Girl Scout. It was their Silver Award project. And even though my Girl Scouts are all now 30 and 31 years old, I still keep it going, and I recruit new Girl Scout troops and I coordinate it. So I have to be home the month of November and December. But after that, we're hitting the road again. But yes, I would love to see West Virginia in the fall sometime, but I'm not able to do that this fall. But I think I'm going to see you, Grant. Let your lovely wife know. I think I'm going to be visiting you, and we'll do another live again with you on Anchor Moments. But probably this spring, towards the end of March would be my guess. End of March, beginning of April is when I will be in your area, which will be so fun. All right, you guys, I got to give myself my shot.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did it on my arm. Yes. I did it on my arm last week. So this week I'm going to do my stomach. So you can see I don't have, and you can see with looking at my stomach, I really don't have, a lot of, oops.
I know you start running out of spots to do.
I don't have a lot of excess skin. I mean, I don't know, but I've been losing so slowly. It just kind of goes with it.
Gina, be careful with your shirt there. You're getting a little too high.
Thank you. I didn't. Yeah, it's terrible when you're doing with a white shirt. You don't realize how high you're going up. Let's see. Let's do over on this side. I don't do this. I haven't done this side in a while. Give myself my shot here. Oops. I like to sit. When I stand, sometimes it makes my stomach too taut, and it I'll get like a little bubble of medicine that doesn't go in. So I like to sit down where my stomach is relaxed.
I noticed that happened to me too.
I have less.
Do my stomach anymore?
Oh, here we go. If I go back further, then you can see me. Okay. So you take off the gray cap, twist from lock to unlock, and here we go. And then you just hold it, push the button and hold down for about 10 seconds. So you hear that second click, and voila, done. Easy peasy, and did not hurt even a teeny tiny little bit.
Oh, Gina, I was going to tell you.
Yeah.
You know how, and we always have talked about like stopping your GLP-1 2 weeks before any surgery.
Right.
So I did that, and surprisingly, my doctor's office said, "Oh, we only require 1 week." But for me, just from everything I've heard and learned from everybody else, I
Yeah.
still did 2 weeks. Yeah, I still did 2 weeks. And then they say, "Well, we want our patients to hurry up afterwards." And so surgery was on Wednesday to get back on your shot the following Monday. And so now I'm back on Mondays. And I think, and I don't know if it's just because mine was Mounjaro or anyone for diabetic management, because they don't want our blood sugar to go out of whack, if although ours is controlled right now. But I was really surprised to hear that. Like they were like, no, we want you to hurry up and get back on it, and you only have to stay off for a week. So they don't. They're surprisingly they weren't requiring people to be off for very long. But like I said, I still did it. And funny thing is, the nurses before surgery kept calling, "Did you stop your shot? Did anybody tell you you're supposed to stop your GLP-1?" And I said, "Oh yeah, I'm way ahead of you guys 2 weeks ago."
Aw.
But they don't want me to do the injection in my stomach because of the mesh. Yeah, so I've
Oh.
moved now to only arms, and I've never really did my legs before because I didn't feel satiety, but it seems like it's doing okay now. I'm doing the inner thigh. So since my upper legs are a little bit more chunkier, I can find more fat because the arms are
Yeah, you're supposed to get them
still,
in the fat. Yep.
yeah. And I don't feel like even though this used to be my sweet spot was behind my arms, it's just more skin. So now I'm just doing alternating legs. inner thigh, kind of, yeah, it's like inner thigh, kind of,
Yeah,
and I get a little
as long as you're
bruise,
hitting the fat on that
the fat
upper
part.
thigh. Yep.
Hmm.
Same thing with your arms.
Yeah.
One of my better viewed videos is me giving myself my shot in the arm for the first time,
Me
and then I had
too.
someone that was all worried about it, and they're like, "No, it's supposed to be on the side of your arm over here," and they were really concerned that I was doing it wrong. And I thought, well, shoot, I've been showing it to everybody that this is how I did it. So I went to my pharmacist and showed him how I do it, and I said, "Is this okay? Am I doing it right? Because if I'm doing it wrong, I've got to take that video down and put a new one up and say, don't do it that way. Here's the right way." And they said, oh, no, it's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. You have fat there. You're going to put it wherever the fat is in your upper arm. The big deal is it needs to be injected in the fat. And they said,
Yeah.
at some point, you're going to be so, it's going to take me a long time that I'm going to be so skinny that, that I won't have a lot of fat in my upper arm. Then you just got to go whichever place, either your arm, your stomach, or your upper thigh, wherever you have any fat, that's where that shot's got to go in those
Hmm.
three places. So,
Oh, the cute belly button doctor.
oh, you got the name?
Did I put it in the chat? The belly button for Journey with
Journey of Life.
of Life. There we go. It's on Instagram. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's Doc Taneha, and I'll type it in the comments.
Yeah,
He's
please, so they can see
yeah,
that.
his office is in Pasadena.
And you know what? If you could put that in the comments when the video is over, because then
Okay.
everyone will be able to
Oh
read it.
yeah.
That would be the best
Yes.
place to put that, Pam. So that way,
Yes.
if anyone else wants to get it done, but they really want to have that belly button, they could look him up.
Yeah.
And Dawn says, if you get to the East Coast, Delaware has great fall festivals. Oh, that would be fun. And I need to
Ooh.
do a whole bunch. I've done everything that's the center of the country and the South. But I've not done the West Coast and the East Coast. Those are the two places that I have a bunch of states left that I need to see. And it would be fun to go in the fall sometime. That would be great.
Oh, thank you,
And Robin
Robin.
says, you look fantastic, Pam. And Journey of Life says, I'm definitely doing the squat challenge. I need my booty to stay put. And Robin says, Jeff and I look great too. That was so sweet. And Journey of Life says, you know what's funny is I was at a stall and ate an In-N-Out burger, and bam, I was down the next day. See, there you go. And you know what? An In-N-Out burger only has 480 calories. Because it tells you right on the thing there. So, you know, it's
Mhm.
you can actually work it in.
Yeah.
Work
Yeah,
it
because
in
now
in a day.
I do whenever we travel, we stop at In-N-Out. And sometimes I'll do a protein style where you have it wrapped in lettuce. But
Uh-huh.
I went for so long without having a lot of bread and I missed that little crunchiness of how they fry their bread that I just treat myself. My daughter will get it mostly with the lettuce wrap, and that's how she's maintained her weight.
Mhm.
But yeah, I feel like they're like the healthiest one, and now I no longer get cheese on it. I get a hamburger with mustard and lettuce and grilled onions, and that's it.
Oh, no
Yeah, no
tomato, huh?
special sauce. I'm just not a tomato fan. Like
Tomatoes.
the acidity is too strong for my mouth. Yeah, it can irritate my mouth a little bit.
And Journey of Life thanks you for the info, Pam. And she has family in Pasadena.
Nice.
And she likes to get hers double toasted.
Oh, I didn't even know that that was a thing.
They
Wow.
have a lot of cute little things. There
Like
was
off the thing.
there's a
The
funny
secret.
comedian that said she brought some relatives to In-N-Out who had never been to In-N-Out before. So she was making a big deal about, oh, you're going to just love this place, and you could do things that are off menu. And when she went up in front of them to try, and I think they were like teenagers, so she was really getting them all excited, and she couldn't remember animal style. She was trying to think of what is the name of that weird thing that you could get. And she accidentally called it unicorn style. And the guy working the
I
front
love
desk
it.
made kind of a face and went, unicorn style? Okay, I can do that for you. and he charged her for it. And then he brought it to her and he handed it to her and he says, hey, what do you think? And he put one French fry in the center of the, of the burger to make it look like a unicorn.
Oh, I love it. Oh my God.
Unicorn style. Ah.
Oh, I love it. And you know,
In and out.
the other thing is, have you heard of where you do the onion and the burger? And I think it's called, it starts with the F. It's like, sounds like a fisherman or something. Do you know what that one is?
At In and Out?
Yeah, In and Out.
No, I just
It's with
know.
it,
Oh, there's animal style, I think, too, for like the French
the
fries. It's something
fries.
weird to the French
Yes.
fries. I was with someone once and we tried it, but we were like, and it's better for me not to have French fries. So that's something that I do skip. I'll just get a burger and water.
Yes.
A Journey of Life says,
Oh,
I don't like tomatoes. I just asked for extra lettuce.
oh
There you
yeah.
go.
Did I
Oh.
I don't know if I said that. I forgot that I asked for lettuce too. Yeah.
And Cindy says it's called the fryer.
The fryer. Okay, that's fun because it's like it's like they slice the oven and you have a whole piece of onion, then the burger, and if you have cheese, you can have, they put all that on there.
Ah,
Yeah. Yeah.
kind of like
So
a toasted onion like that.
yes, it's
That's
grilled.
too bad. I bet I'd like that because I really like onion too.
Me
Grilled, yeah,
too.
and have it grilled with that. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And we have got to
Oh,
head out now, Pamaru. It's been
yes.
so much fun. We're gonna have to have, I'm gonna have to go to California at some point and visit you. We'll do a
I
live together.
know.
Maybe
Yes. You and I are talkers. We could always have a
we could
conversation.
go all night long. Absolutely. But Pam, thank you for sharing everything. You guys, you've got to go see her YouTube channel, Journey with Pam.
Thank you.
Pam's gonna maybe tonight before you go to bed or tomorrow, but Mounjaro Journey with Pam. Make
Yes.
a playlist. Make a playlist so that way they can see all the stages of you recovering. You could even throw this one in there if you wanted to, because you can do it from other channels too if you wanted to. When I did the Downsized at Sea, I created a playlist, and then I realized, hey, wait a minute. I was interviewed by the Downsized while I was on the cruise ship on that
Yes.
cruise with them, and I thought I should link that to that playlist too. So I did.
Oh, I'll have to do that because they interviewed me too. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
And Journey of Life says, yes, come on down. Yeah, I'll have to visit you
Aw.
too. So when you see Journey of Life that I'm heading to California, email me what town to go to, and we could meet up somewhere. That would be so fun. And
Yes.
you guys are always welcome to be a guest on my show. All you have to do, and thanks so much, Journey of Life. She loved the live and appreciates all of
Aw,
us.
thank you.
Where's my email? Do you see it, Jeff? Is it
I
this?
appreciate you
There it is.
guys.
Just email me, Gina@anchormoments.com, if you'd like to be a guest on my show. We'd love to have you. And Pam, you were fabulous. I love you bunches. Thank you so
You
much for
too.
sharing your journey. And I really hope you get some subscribers. She hasn't hit 1,000 yet. So we got to get her up to 1,000. And thank you everybody for liking and for anyone who's ever shared any of these videos. Really appreciate you all. Oh, and we have to say who the top 3 on the leaderboard are. Oops.
Oh, yeah.
Wait. Who are our top 3 on the leaderboard, Pam?
You take your shot.
Oh,
I took my
how
shot.
do okay, number 1 is Barb.
Yay!
Do I just look for do I look for the
You
crown with
hit
the number
top 10.
ones?
Number 1 is Grant Campbell.
Oh, how do you find out?
Number 2 is Journey of Life. And number 3 is Cindy, Taz the Bulldog's mom. Dun, 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 dun. Wait, here we go. See? Right there. You click the at the very top, Pam, it has a crown and says top fans. And when you click that, whenever you do a live, the top 3 people who ask
Oh, there it
questions,
is.
you get points and stuff, and people can watch that while they're during the live to see if they're going to get to wear the crown or not.
Oh,
But those are our top 3 crowns.
oh,
So,
and Tazzy Man has a bulldog. Oh, I love it.
yeah, that's Cindy. I love her. All
Oh,
right, everybody. Hold on to your anchor moments and make it a great day. Bye-bye.
bye, guys. Thank you. Oh.